Hello, welcome back to Trucking Answers live on Monday. It's good to see everybody out here. What's going on? 1 p.m. Monday, we're live every week out here. It's super exciting. I'm never set up right. There we go. That's better. So I can see myself. What's happening out there today? Who's out there? Let's see. Oh man, a huge list already. Yeah, they bought your company. All right, Eric, what's going on? William, hello. Richard, what's happening today? Trucking Wife, hello today. Thank you for being here. Kim is here. John C is there. Man, everybody's out there today. Mr. Good to see you. Hopefully you're down south. That's what I assume. John C. U-Haul is here. Man, can't do much. 2 hours, 40 minutes. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So great. Everybody's out there today. And okay, hello for Dan from California. Fast Joe is here. Alan, man, it's going great here today. I'd lock up already. I can't do that. Oh, Jeff, hey, what's happening? That's awesome. Get that back up there. Good. Good morning. Chris is going to Dallas. Nice. Edgar's out there. Man, Jeff, man, it's a big group today. So Celadon, I wanted to talk about Celadon for a minute. Alberto's here in Missouri. Settled a lawsuit with investors. I think this is interesting. Investors were suing them saying that they misreported their earnings and they had way inflated the amount of money that they were making and misreported that. And so investors finally said, look, we're going to settle with you because we think you don't even make enough money to keep going. We think you're going to be bankrupt. So we'd just rather have part of our money than continuing with the lawsuit. Apparently, they'd overstated their earnings by hundreds of millions of dollars. That is a huge, huge deal at Celadon. So I don't know. I mean, if you're working at Celadon, that may be something you want to consider. You know, that the investors that invest in this place think that they're overstated their earnings so much, and they've been in trouble for this before at Celadon, so that they are overstating their earnings so much that they may go bankrupt. And the investors think, we think you're going to go bankrupt, you don't have any money, and we'll just take a portion of the money that we were suing you for because you're just not going to make it. I thought that was pretty interesting. That a large company like that, and Celadon's been having a lot of problems like that. So honestly, really, Aaron, man, hey, Jody, hello in Oklahoma, Kevin, man, Terry, I appreciate you saying that. That's super nice. James is out there, man. Sergeant Sparky, that's great. I love it. Saul, good morning from Chicago. Yeah, everything is great out here. You're not that far from me. I used to live on 1800 North Whipple. And for new people, right, I'm here every Monday at 1. I have another screen down here where I can keep up with the comments. So that's what I do. That when I get a lot of them rolling, just ask your comment or whatever again so that I can get back to it. So we try to be interactive. But that's the story with Celadon. They may end up going bankrupt, because if investors, these are the people that look at all the numbers of the company, think that they don't have any money, that's a problem. That's a problem. I'm sure they would tell the drivers and everybody, oh, don't worry, we make plenty of money. But, the investors, when they sue them and say, we're not even going to continue to sue you, we'll just take what you have right now, that's a real problem. That is a huge problem, really. Chance, okay, what's happening? Laverne, Arkansas. Did they sell out their flatbed division? They've basically sold almost everything they had. I think it did read in there that they sold the flatbed part of it, to be honest with you. They had sold several of their divisions. They closed 3 of their trucks. It's a real problem. If you're over there, that is something to really be concerned about, that they're getting rid of everything that they have. Alan, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. James, did they file Chapter 11? I don't think so. It didn't mention that in the article, and it seems like that would be something that they would have said in that article. I don't remember, but it's certainly possible. You still see them around. Yeah, seldom. A year ago, there were videos of them going under. It's been a rumor going around, every few weeks, but this is a real problem. The lawsuit where investors say, okay, we'll just take a little bit of money and leave because we think you're going to go bankrupt. That's a huge problem. That is a real problem. That's probably the worst thing that I've seen it say yet. The president of Celadon is not the president of your company. Depends where you work, I guess. You sued USA Truck for $20,150 for failure to pay federal minimum wages. That's interesting. You better get your money while you can. That's for sure. Fast Joe, thank you very much. I appreciate that, sir. That's quite nice of you. Neil has a question. You got your 30 days. Your CDL 30 days ago, well, you quit smoking weed. Nice. And you had 2 DOT employment tests and you failed. Wow. Did you screw up your chances of getting hired? Maybe. If they find out, that's a huge problem. I will tell you. That is a big problem. And plus they ask you, have you ever failed a DOT physical or drug test? So you got to answer them that. So it's a problem. I'll tell you, that is a problem. You may have to go find some owner operator that doesn't care as much. You're not prohibited from hiring you. Just most companies won't hire you. Make sure you are clean on the next one. But yeah, I think it's a real problem. You have your own truck and do well. Yeah, look, the rates are up. I say that every week. Everybody says that the rates are up. Even OIDA, who deals with owner operators all the time, says that the rates are up. And that's who they deal with. I'm a company driver here. So, if these people are talking about the rates are up, everybody that is either getting percentage or has their own truck should be doing very well right now, really. You were in Celadon orientation in 2013. Nice. A news reporter was filming the old man that owned the company, giving a speech. You interrupted him when he said they want out a minimum of 21 days. Celadon likes to keep you out. I guess now you'll be getting home people there as they turn their trucks in, which is a possibility. Or if anybody's been out there for a while, you're Aero Trucking. What do I think of ESOP Company? I never heard of them. In Rockford, Illinois. Nice. Not far from me. Western, yeah, at least they're not bankrupt at Western, I guess. Oh, that's not a bad idea. For the drug test person, I will tell you, Western's a horrible place, but they may hire you. Maybe. I mean, it's known. Everybody posted as a second chance company. They might hire you. And at least you'd be driving, I guess, which then you'd have your time driving. It's possible. Trucker coach. Hey, I haven't seen you for a while. What's going on out there? APUs give you extra weight in your gross. That is correct. Celadon lied to you. That's not a surprise for sure. The Nighthawk is here. You made 35,750 miles last week. That's really impressive. That's more than 1,000 miles an hour, and I would say that's going to result in an excellent paycheck. What do I think of driving a local semi for FedEx? Yeah, if you want to go local, give them a call. I mean, around here, they run day cabs around here all day long with pups or whatever. No problem. Should you apply? You should call them and ask them about what they pay and all other things that you would need, to make sure it'll be local and not hit it at a hotel if that's something that you want. But absolutely, right? Hit them up. Oh, how about that? That's pretty hip of me. Hit them up. Nice. Celadon has always been a bad company. Yeah, it's not like they have like some super great reputation. If you go with a smaller company, I mean, that's a personal choice. I always like a large company because I like all the benefits of a large company, but don't go to a mega company. There are companies with 500, 600 trucks that give you excellent benefits, and I think that's a large company. So, it just depends where you want. Some people want to be known by their name. I don't care if they know my name, right? I don't know these people. They don't come to my house at Christmas. So, really, I don't care if they know who I am. That's just my personal view of it, though. If that's not yours, that's a personal thing. But since I just work for them, I don't care. You had 3,750 miles. Oh, right. That's a good week, though. That's still a good week. Now, you on electronic log, or do we paper log that? And that's running legal, right? Because people think you can't get those miles. You can. You absolutely can. If you fail a hair follicle test, do they suspend your license? I don't know. I think that the official DOT test is a urine test. Some companies do a hair follicle test for their own needs, but the DOT official test still accepts the urine test. But the company could fire you, certainly. What about CST? They're bugging me to come join their team. I'm sure. They still bother me to join their team. So they would love you to join their team of team drivers. I personally think you can do better. I don't know anything about your situation, and I think you could do better. That's how I think it is over there. Okay, right. You run that legal on electronic log. Exactly. People forever write to me, I can't only get 2,000 miles on electronic log. No way. No way, right? You can run legal on an electronic log and get miles and make a living. Absolutely. Right? As people know, which I get grief about all the time, I've been on not an ELD ride, an EOBR since 2010, and now running ELDs, and some of our trucks were switching over, and I'm training some of the drivers on them. And, no problem. You can run legal week and make money. And you shouldn't be running illegal anyway. Okay, that's not what I'm about. There's no point in being out here running illegal over 14, 15 hours a day. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. You did teams you don't work, right? I don't think he's lying about that. You can absolutely make that money. An employee-owned company, there are some employee-owned companies. I don't know if it makes any difference to the all the way down to the driver. Maybe. Is Swift is better. The more I look at companies, the more I like Swift. What do you think about that? I don't like the training where you have to pay it and then pay it back. It takes a long time to get your money back. But I tell you, they got a lot of trucks and a lot of trailers and a lot of freight. And look at all these other companies out here making you buy fuel and all this crazy stuff. I mean, compared to that, holy mackerel. They're pretty soon they're going to be the company. There's so many of these horrible places. They're almost getting ready to be the company that's doing it better, for crying out loud. And they train a ton of people. And at any company, if you will work, like they called me to come in again Saturday, which I didn't do because I was busy. But if you will just come to work every day at work and do your job, that's half the battle of trucking. It seems like it's maybe 80% of the job, because they got people that call off, don't come in, don't work. If you'll just do that, you'll be successful, for sure. You should have joined the Army as a truck driver, CDL. Yeah, now, right? I went in as a 98 Charlie, so military intelligence analyst. If you ran a legal paper log, the ELD makes no difference. Yeah, that's what I've always said, right? The electronic log changed the rules. So as long as you were running legal, the ELD doesn't change the rules that you're doing, right? You bring home 3,200 in your pocket after everything's paid out. Dang. Somebody's owning their own truck out there, right? Hurricane is screwing drivers over right now. They're gonna no. YouTube will boot me for that. Tons of horror stories. They've been bad, but they really stepped up. That's good. Companies that they learn from themselves and then they really take their BS game to the next level. Speaking of BS, I've heard that May is going to stop charging drivers for fuel. So I always like to be accurate on that. It'll happen in a couple of weeks. I'm going to follow up on that. So we'll see. I'm going to say, I hope it's because I gave him a lot of grief about it, but I don't know if that's true or not. A couple people wrote to me, though, and said that recruiters in truck schools are now saying that in the next couple of weeks they're changing that policy and they will not be charging company drivers for fuel anymore. So love it. E-log on a TomTom, right. Oh, car hauler? You get on a car hauler, nice. How long does it take to load a car on there? You can run 3,900 on an ELD in 70 hours. Look, there's no reason why with an electronic log and a company that will keep you rolling, right, that you can't make money with an e-log. I've been saying that always. And, I just did this video about these Black Spoke Matters guys that stop the highway. That's ridiculous, okay? What their problem is, and you saw it was all owner-operators out there stopping the highway. It's just crazy, right? Get to work. If a place is not rolling you, go somewhere else. Don't sit around and and just sit there. That's ridiculous. With all the freight that's going on, yikes. CRST is a homeless shelter. Nice. If you fail their school, you're fired. Yeah, I've heard that, about other places too, that they don't send you home. You're fired and you got to find your own way home. You work for an employee-owned company, but it's gotten much better because the employees own it. Right. That is one way to change the company, to have the employees own it. And you make good money and train. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Homeless shelter called the news to stop the company from dropping people off. Nice. Holy crap. So that CRST small bus drops people off at the shelter? I love it. Is that even legal, Truckers Coach? Yes, I did a video about that, May Trucking, and a guy sued him and said, you can't take that out of my check, and he lost. He appealed it in the federal appeals court and lost. And the appeals court said that because idling the truck, running the truck is for the driver's benefit and their comfort, that if the company doesn't want to pay for it, they can charge you for it as long as they tell you in advance and have you sign for it, which they do at May. So yeah, they do charge them, and it turns out it's legal. A guy sued him, lost. Incredible. When I heard it, I couldn't believe it. I thought, no way can they charge that. Turns out they can. And that case was last year. Okay, it was just finished up last year. So yeah, big, huge Mike. Nice. Good. Thanks for coming in. I haven't seen you for a while. On the DAT load, there's 900,000 loads a day. There's tons of loads out there. There's loads going all over the place. You're sleeping in Tucumcari, New Mexico. As long as you're resting in the sleeper, you can watch this video and still count it as sleeper time. Nice. You drove for CRST in 95. Have they gotten worse? Yes. The same bed you slept on there, they still have, and the bed bugs have just gotten larger. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Truckers Coach. Wow, exactly. Sued, lost. They can charge you for fuel. Incredible. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it here. Believe me. I thought, no way, but yeah way. Your company will pay to and from orientation. And some other people said this as well, and I wrote a blog about it at truckinganswersnation.com/blog, he says. But as a plug, but look, a company, if they fire you for any reason on the road at orientation, they should bring you back to your house. A lot of them don't. It isn't right. Now, if you're on the road and you just quit, you go, I'm out of here, come get your truck, that's your problem. But on the road, if they fire you, let you go, they need to bring you back and your stuff all the way back to your house. That's just fair. It's just the right thing to do. It's probably not required, but they should do it. Any place that would leave you stranded or bring you to orientation and say, oh, we don't want you, so you're fired. That's just ridiculous. Just that is enough to get them. Should be on a bad list for something. Timothy, nice. They have fleas as well. Welcome back, as by the way. Your trainees make $700 to $900 a week in training. That's excellent. In training, there are drivers not making that driving a truck. If you fail a pre-employment drug test, can your license be suspended? That is a good question, because you don't need the drug test to get the license. You only need a drug test to get a job. When you go get your license, right, if you pass the physical and the driving test, then you can get your CDL. The drug test is for a job. So I'm not 100% on it, I will tell you that, but I'm going to say no. But getting another job is a huge problem. You just heard the Black Smoke Fool got fired. I thought those guys were owner-operators. I don't remember that guy's name, but I don't think so. If he's an owner-operator, I guess the company can cut his lease if he's leased on. So you have, I guess, if you get your own authority, you can't ever get fired. What do I think about the international? I hate internationals. Always trucks, though, it's personal, right? So I don't like them. I don't like the way they're set up inside. I don't like the way the dashboard, the radio, and the ones that we had was like way down there. I don't like them. Not a fan of them at all. The worst, that's what I say. And somebody who's maybe on here, right, sent me the truck of a picture of their England. He has a Western Star at England. That's getting me to change my mind. And you give me a Western Star, I might be in. What a super nice truck. Thanks, James. Yeah, I don't think the drug test has anything to do with your CDL. You still keep your license. You would either lose your job, you won't get that job, or you'll have a problem getting another job. Any info on Empire Express? I don't know anything about it. Must have been in California, that case. No, that case was in Oregon. That case was in Oregon, which is May headquarters. And I couldn't believe it. But he appealed it up to federal court, though. He appealed it to the federal appeals court for the Western District and lost. The only way to appeal that then is the Supreme Court, which is not going to take that because it's not a constitutional thing. So basically, that ended it. But I've heard now that they're going to stop doing that, ironically, right after my video, so I'll just take credit for it. If they do stop it, I'll probably take credit either way. I'm just going to grab the credit and run with it. Everyone hates internationals. Yeah, they're horrible. The Black Smoke guys are radical. Look, I saw some videos put up by other drivers about that guy. Look, that's not the guy you want speaking for you. And there was a picture of him on some trucker site giving the camera the finger. That's not a good way to get people behind your movement. And when the public sees that, you know what they're going to say? Oh, there they go. There's a truck driver. That's a typical truck driver. We don't need that. That's not something we need to get anything changed. And somebody put in the comments of the video, why not go block a Walmart DC at Christmas time? Then you'll get some traction. That's not a bad idea. Then we're not holding up an ambulance. And if, that kind of thing. That's better than holding up just random people on the road. You like the new International King? You can have yours. You can have mine too. The rules, November 19th is when the diabetes rule changes. That I had a video about a little while ago, where you'll be able to get the note from your doctor on a form, of course, and then take it in and given a 1-year physical. And that rule goes into effect November 19th. I do have a video. It's been a couple weeks ago, I guess. Okay, Bob, we'll leave the asterisk in for that one. You saw that food flying the bird? Yeah, exactly. You're not going to solve anything doing that. Several Cypress drivers that are happy. Trucker Hypocrite Buster is here today, too. Everybody is in the house today looking at the Celadon bankruptcy problem, apparently. And these other guys were getting charged for fuel, among other things. It's one thing to charge you for truck school. It's another thing to say, we're not putting an APU on a truck, and we're gonna just charge you to run the truck. So there. Did any crap company ask me to take the videos down of them? No. Yeah, I'm giving their information and my opinion. So there would be no way, they could only ask nicely, really. What do I think of Schugel? I don't know anything about Schugel. You like your International broke down in Texarkana, the clutch went out and it leaks like the Titanic. Yeah, that's typical, right? Although a lot of our Freightliners are leaking in and out of the windshields too. Mine isn't, but some of them are. I may have answered this question in a video. Maybe. What's the best company to start with? I don't answer what is the exact best company to start with, because it depends on what you want, right? I try to post stuff about good companies to get started with, because part of it depends on where you live and how long you want to be gone, right? I'd call Maverick and Millis certainly and McElroy, which somebody just said, what do I think about them? Yeah, I like them too. And if you want to be home locally, I'd probably call Old Dominion and Yellow, who also will take trainees and have a training school contingent with them to be local. So it just depends on where you want to go, that kind of thing. There's no perfect company, but those companies seem to be doing pretty good at it. So if you want to give those for Vans, Millis, otherwise Maverick, run a flatbed, that kind of thing, call around. But don't just call one place and sign up there. Call a lot of places, and ask them questions to determine what is going to be the best fit for you. A good place for one person doesn't always work for somewhere else. It just depends on what you are doing. You work for Celadon, you can confirm they're operating the black and are regaining ground. That's not what the investors said in their lawsuit. That's all I can tell you. I'm sure they are saying that, I'm sure. Can people use the CPAP drive? Absolutely. Absolutely. You had a Freightliner in Amarillo College that leaked the top right side of the windshield. Yeah, they always leak in around the windshield. It's like like the guys that put them together just lick the windshield and stick it in there. They just lick it and and that's it. They never seal. So what I do when they leak, I buy a little tube of that silicone and go all the way around the windshield on the outside, and it seems to do better, because the mechanics are like, well, we can't duplicate it because it sits in the shop and it's dry in there. They go, it's not leaking in here. So a little tube of silicone would do wonders for those. One of your trainees had a CPAP. Yeah, absolutely. You can run it with a CPAP, no problem. They can ask to remove the video. Right. They can ask all they want to remove it, but it would be a violation. Yeah, every movie reviews, that's restaurant reviews, that's what that is, a review. A restaurant review gives information about the restaurant and then the person who's reviewing its opinion. And then they put that in the newspaper, whatever. This is the same type of thing. That's why they haven't asked me to remove. The guy from K&B, as I did a video about that, was upset that I was wrong, but I was only wrong on a minor deal. And I posted that as well, but no one has asked me to take their videos down yet. No, and any company, if I'm wrong, they're welcome to write to me or whatever, and I'll correct any information about their videos. No problem. If you run an e-log legal, freight will slow down, wages increase, rates go up. Right. That's what I've always said, Truckers Coach. Look, you're 100% right. As usual, you're 100% on it, right? You know, if everybody would just run 100% legal, when you are 10 minutes away from your delivery, you sit there for 10 hours because you run out of hours. You go, sorry, you're going to get your freight tomorrow now. That's how you hold up the industry. You run it legal. Some drivers, I see him creeping around. You know the guy is doing that on his e-log, right? He's creeping around at 1 mile an hour, so that's not setting up. No, we don't do that. You want to change the system, that use the system for the change, for sure. Don't creep around at half a mile an hour to get, down 40 docks because you're trying to get your 30-minute break or a 10-hour break. Do not do that. You can lick it and press it in with putty. Do they have flavored putty now? When nature calls, we let nature take the call. Nice. Almost any citation can, look, any citations can affect you. That, I don't know, that kind of goes without saying, I guess. Don't get any citations. Try to keep your record clean, and certainly do not mess up a drug screen. That is a real problem. It really is. Well, Matt, we'll let you keep the Pete. As long as we got a Pete with a wide cab, when I can reach the door on the other side and roll the window down, it's kind of a tiny thing here. If you have an APU or 80,400, right? APUs are 400 pounds. You found out the leaks were coming through the cab clearance lights. Yikes. That's all I need. The lights going out and electrocuting me. You always creep in parking lots? Mr. Skeptical, are you creeping around parking lot in your electronic log? Your e-log is very sensitive. Yeah. Well, I think that when you press the brake in, it ought to go to driving. I don't think it should allow you to move at all. If you press in the brake, aren't you driving? That's obviously you're going to drive. That's what I think it should do. That's how sensitive it should be. It shouldn't be so many miles an hour or whatever. A mile an hour is still driving. So that's how I think it is. The whole deal is run legal. And somebody wrote to me and said we should run legal in during the 72-hour blitz, and I think that is a great idea. So when they do one of these 72-hour blitzes, that's the time to be 100% legal. Especially if they stop you and you don't have some time to go, well, I can't leave now because you held me up. I was going to make it to the truck stop, but now I can't. So now I have to sit here. I just love it. I just love that's the way to do it. You don't think the citation is up to the company to decide? Well, or the insurance company. So a lot of companies are self-insured. So the insurance company is them. They have this insurance company that just manages their self-insured policy. Your states allow 500. Some allow 500 and allow 500. Are they raising that? And I haven't heard about it. I thought the APU was 400 across the board. Yes, Mad Maldy, right. Sometimes we get upset over e-logs here. You want to cheat your e-log? Buy a jammer. We'll jam satellite and cell communications. The R set goes on cell, of course, but when you're not in the system, it still records everything, and it just sends it whenever it finds a signal again, and the light comes back on that it's sending. So I don't know that works full time. Not that I would never say to do that anyway. You should run legal, but jamming it would only jam that it's sending it right then. It still records it in the unit. People not let you drive 2 miles as fast as you want before automatically switching me. That's a long time. I mean, that whole 2 miles you were driving, legitimately, right? That's legit driving time. You're at the T8 at 185 exit 149. You don't say what state that is. That's what they'll do. They'll send a message. Hey, they do that to us too. There's an accident on like I-20, a long highway. I-80, it'll say exit mile marker 50. Be sure to stay away from the area. And we're like, where the heck is that? Because the people sending it they don't think anything about it. How about a side job? A new student practicing a manual made off a poll from this channel. Ha! Maybe somebody here could get some a side hustle going on. You could be 400 over with the APU, with an APU. What do I think about a 567? I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. Is that the day cab version of it? Okay, in Georgia. Nice day. Is it humid there? It's only 45 degrees here today. So, but it's supposed to get into the 60s later, and it's sunny. Here in mid-Indiana, we're going to get freezing tonight. So if you have any plants on the outside of your truck, you need to take those in tonight. A do's and don'ts list, maybe. A do and don't for drivers. Don't apply to this company. Maybe that could be on the list. Yeah, the 400 is on the drives, not on the trailer steers. Yes, correct, right, Kim. They're because they assume your APU is hanging right off the drives. Yeah, Mr. Skeptical. Some people have plants, and so I don't know what kind of plants. I guess we need more. You need more what? You're in Central Illinois. At Two Dogs says they're in Central Illinois, so you're having the same kind of weather as me. I'm in Central Indiana. 75 degrees down there. Yeah, that's super nice. That's super, because we're about to probably get snow here in the next few weeks the way it's going by me. There was snow in northern Indiana over the weekend already. And I saw 80. I saw that on the news. Disaster out west. It's already a total mess. What's up with drivers running the left lane up a hill and not being courteous? That's been a lifelong problem, of course. Drivers, they see the truck and then they don't think, oh, I can't get up this hill. And so it's a huge problem. Look, I totally agree with you. No drivers don't care. These are the same drivers that sit at the fuel island for 30 minutes without moving or go in and take a shower. I guess at least they're showering. So we have one benefit and one not benefit of it. But these are the same drivers doing all this. They don't care about you. They don't care about the industry. They don't care about anything. They're just them. It's all me. And who cares about anybody else? There was snow in Kansas. I believe it. That's a total mess. Cold. Yeah, it's going to be cold. Yeah, Mr. Skeptical, I did see that, right? It looks like you're going to be busy for a while down there. Leaving Jacksonville, Florida. It's beautiful on your side of it, yes. Thank you. Thank you for respect. I appreciate it. Oh, all right, Mr. Hill or Mrs. Hill. Thanks for coming in. It doesn't say which one. And you don't have a picture. Time to get a picture up there. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Lancer. Everybody, look, I'm just a driver, right? I'm not some kind of special guy or whatever, right? I never say that. I'm a driver like everybody else. I drive. For new people, I've been driving for over 30 years. And I've been 16 years at the same company. So, I'm out there driving just like everybody else. I've been all over the country and driven lots of different kinds of trucks and trailers. And my company sends me around. I've been doing a lot of training on electronic log as we switch over from the EOBR to the ELD. And so that's what I do. That's a little bit about me here, right? 70 Fahrenheit. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning it was 70 Fahrenheit, because if it was 70 Celsius, I think that we wouldn't want to be in California right now. No disrespect, but newer drivers are not the same. I've thought about that. And when I started driving, that's what they said on the CB then too, right? I mean, that's probably for everybody, right? If you've been driving in length of time, isn't that what they've always said though? I mean, that's what our parents say too. That, this is what, are the kids today. So are new drivers today really different than they were? I don't think so. Maybe it's just the same. Maybe they're not being trained as good. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about that. Good drivers are hard to come by. Yes, thank you. That is true. And like I said earlier, if you will just come to work and work every day, you have half of the problem solved. They forever call to come in on Saturday and do stuff because somebody's left a trailer somewhere, or you need to go get a trailer. I mean, just do your job and you will be successful. And that's probably in anything, not just driving. Okay, thank you, Mike. Snowed in New Mexico. Yikes, what is going on here? Does everybody have their shovels and chains? 55 in Hebron. Oh, so it's warming up. Maybe that heat will come over here in a few minutes before I have to go to work. Nice. 75 in Tennessee, though. That's better. That's what we're talking about. Not everybody is born to be a driver, says Mr. Canada. It, yeah, part of it you learn and part of it you just get. My dad drove for a while for CRST, ironically in the 70s, and he never got backing. Him and his friend teamed, and he just said he never got it. And whenever they would have to back in, he would have his friend do the backing because he just didn't get it. So, I think that I think you either get it or you don't. Probably by the end of truck school, you can probably see the people that are going to get it. But you can learn, let's be honest, you can learn a lot of it, but the parts of it you just can't get. There's too many steering wheel holders. Yeah, some people aren't in it for, they're just in it because they had nothing else to do, or some state has paid for it and kind of forced them into it, or they wouldn't get unemployment. It's something that you really have to enjoy, certainly, especially if you're gone. I mean, you really have to like it. And I cannot tell you the number of students that I've had that said they don't like to drive, because I always ask them that. Hey, do you like driving? And some of them are like, no, I don't really like driving. And I'm always surprised at that. I'm like, well, what are you doing here? And then it's always some other reason that has brought them into the industry. They are forced into it by the state, or just they thought it was something to do. And that's always disappointing, because I know these people are not going to be here. You're almost wasting your time training them, because they're not any on. They're going to be totally out of the industry. They're not going to stay. Thanks, Pure Flatbetter. I'll check it out. 58 in Vegas. Wow. That's chilly out there. What's going on with that? Do they pay you to chain up? I haven't really seen too many places that pay you to chain up. Most places now tell you not to chain. Park it. You have the chains, but most places tell you if you have to chain, you don't have to drive. But check, as they say, check your company for details. It was 40 in Dallas. What is going on? A lot of new drivers are indoctrinated to accept less. A lot of these companies are forcing drivers into less, and they don't know any better, and it's disappointing. People think it's okay to pay for fuel, and it isn't. It's okay to sit for 3 days before they pay you $40. That isn't right. And, it isn't like you have to pay your dues or whatever. That's just wrong to do to somebody. People should be paid for their time, no matter if they're new or not. Or Western takes advantage of people that have a poor record and pays them nothing. And they're like, well, too bad. You just have a bad record. And it isn't right. If you're going to hire somebody, you need to pay them. It doesn't matter that they have a record. You hired them. You think they're okay to work, but, we'll just pay half price because you're new or you have 4 felonies. It isn't right. You hire them, you pay them. Well, thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate that. I'm glad it is your favorite channel. It's my favorite channel too. But I do appreciate it, really. You stay out 8 to 12 weeks. Wow. That's a good way to make money, though. That is a good way. Hello from Northern Illinois. Thank you, Roger. Thanks for popping in here today. Yeah, as a felon, it's difficult to find work. Yes. At least you're working. I totally agree. And look, people, that have a felony, if they get out and want to work, they should be given an opportunity to work. Now if you go and commit more felonies or whatever, that's another story. But people have problems. They make a mistake. I totally agree with that. Personally, I would clean your record in 10 years. It isn't fair that a felony when you're 16, 18 follows you when you're 53 and it impacts your job. That isn't right. I would clear it, but that's not up to me. But something that's years ago, they shouldn't even look at that. That's just ridiculous. Now, if you have one every 2 years, that's a different problem. That's a different problem. The CRST, Rodney, that's great. Tons of people sent those in. It's enough to fill a whole web page. Those are wonderful. What do I suggest when you work for someone that forces you to cheat on logs? Not to cheat on your logs, number one, right? And number two, find another job, because that place is probably not paying you correctly. And aren't they using an e-log? How do you cheat on that now? Or are they running some old truck? So as a company driver that's running a 99 or older truck, that I probably wouldn't look into that anyway. Celadon lawsuit. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right? It's issues that occurred on older investors invested in the place and said Celadon is cooking the books, that they're reporting way hundreds of millions of dollars more profits than they're actually getting. And so these investors just settled this lawsuit because they're afraid that, and this was quoted in the article, that, quote, Celadon is not going to be solvent, that they're going to go bankrupt. So they took a partial payment just to get out of it. And so that makes me a little nervous about Celadon, that investors are like, oh, forget it. We'll just take some money and leave because we don't think you have enough money left. All right, I'll get back right. So the log's right. So, right, you're having trouble finding employment, mainly insurance. It depends, right? A lot of these companies are self-insured, though, so they're just using that as an excuse. They're their own insurance company. Your girl just finished school. I love it, right? And ran into a license issue. You've been taken care of, going next week to the road test. Oh, good. Yeah, look, it's no problem. It's nerve-wracking when any new thing, right, is nerve-wracking. But look, if you don't do it, this is what I say about stuff now, especially. You're always going to look back on it and say, oh, wow, I wonder if I could have done that. What would have happened? Don't look back on your life with regret of what you didn't do, because that's what happens. You always regret what you didn't do. So if there's something you want to do, go do it. Especially that, right? My sister-in-law's husband just died about 2 months ago now. He was 47 years old, and he just died in his sleep. Okay, and so, don't wait for things. Don't regret things. Don't wish you do things tomorrow. Go do them today. What company do I recommend for paid CDL training? You can go anywhere you want for the CDL training. And this is another thing, right? Some places make you pay money, and some don't. Look into your state Department of Unemployment. You don't have to be unemployed to use it either. Some of them have grants for people to get their CDL. That's probably the best way. If not, pay for it yourself. If not, then find a company. And if you're out there and want to run local, which is almost the only way I would do the East Coast, I'd look into like Yellow or somebody that's out there. East Penn, one of the, I forget what that place is called, out there. You get 3 emails a week from Bar None. Look, I've been looking into Bar None. People send me emails about it. They have a super great deal. They're about to get a video. I mean, they have all kinds of off time and bonuses and stuff. Yeah, so what are they trying to say to you about Bar None? Jordan, don't mention who I work for. They have a social media policy, and because it's run by a bunch of old people that don't know anything. And so I don't ever mention who I work for, and that way they don't get to say anything about my videos. They don't get to say, oh, well, we don't like you saying that about this company. So I don't mention them. But, a lot of people out here recruit for their companies. I don't do that either. So I don't recruit for that company. Companies I post here, they don't pay me anything for that. And I also don't recruit for my own company, which I probably could. I've been there over 16 years. So that's why I leave them out of it. I've been there a long time, and I want to keep it that way. So I don't mention them. That's why I don't say anything about my company. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of places it does depend on the felony and how long it's been. That's what all these places are saying. People have asked me to ask the companies. Everyone says, oh, you got to tell us what the felony is or whatever. So you're going to have to call around if you have a lot of them. You ask new drivers, why are they here, or for a check or to prosper? Most just need a check. I totally agree. They're being pushed into it by the state. I found a lot of that when the warehouse closes or something, and then the state will pay for all the training. And so I know they're not going to have a long time in the industry. Hello from Western Kentucky. 45 degrees here. Oh, well, at least it's not raining here. 45 and rain. What's with all the closed rest areas? Look, the states want you to park, take a 30-minute break, and they go, well, plus we're going to close all the places for you to park. Part of it, I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I've always thought this, is the truck stops and that maybe giving money to the politicians to close the rest areas. That's just what I think about it, because then you have to go to the truck stops, right? Check out PTL. Yeah, aren't they company owner owned by the drivers too? Have I heard anything about Shugel buying Western Express? No. Is somebody buying Western Express? Who would buy that place? Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate that. Tell her to go for it. She's going to do great. Oh, thanks, Michael. I had that cat. I don't talk about my cats or whatever, but I had he brought it up there. That was my cat, and I had her, 15 and a half years. So that was a tough day here for sure. She used to sleep on my hand when I would come to bed. So there you go about that. So I'm a big cat person on here. You were known out before you screwed up and have several truck. Look, you can get back in the seat. Oh, a nice W900. Nice. PTL's a starter company. They're a driver owned, right? You've been there 2 years. See, now that's the kind of thing that we need. People should, when you get someone who's been somewhere for years and can tell you that it's a great place, that says something. If you find drivers that are at a place for years and years, that tells you something. When you go to a place and 90% of the people started this year, that's a problem. Why don't people stay? That'd be the question I ask them. Where did everybody go? And if they went just anywhere else, then that is a real problem. Oh, they bought Super Service. What are my thoughts about reserve parking? Well, reserve parking, the truck stops can charge it for sure. And the only way that's the same kind of solution, is to not use it. But companies now are starting to pay it for their employees. So between that and everybody else charging it, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think if anything, you're going to see more and more of it, because more and more companies are posting that, hey, we pay for the parking at the truck stops. It isn't going to end. It's going to be, places are going to be, half the places are going to be, paid parking or more, especially in congested areas. They're going to have half the lot as paid parking. What I'm always wondered is, why are there people in the paid parking when the lot's empty? I've noticed that on the weekends. Maybe those companies are paying for it as well. But they should go park in a regular spot, not hose the company on it. Creed or Martin? Well, I haven't looked into Martin, but I did a video about Creed, and they pay pretty good. They have a good program. The drive cam is only on if you have a problem or you want it. So yeah, check into them. But I haven't called Martin or anything. They run reefers out of Indianapolis, though. PTL has low pay? I don't know. I haven't looked into them. Is trucking a stressful job? Yeah. Like totally stressful. Like, what's up, dude? What am I talking about? Can you really find a paid CDL program in unemployment? Not an unemployment agency. I'm talking about the state's Department of Unemployment in your state. A lot of states have grants that will train you in truck driving. You do not have to be unemployed to use it. It varies by state, though, and what exactly is going on in that state at that time. But yes, and the grants, it's either for part or all of it. Another thing, it depends on each state. They're all different. And it changes all the time. Just look up your state's Department of Unemployment and ask them. You might find out that they have a grant that pays for truck school. Maybe. Some of them are doing it and some of them aren't. Okay, here's somebody. Jeff got his CDL through the Department of Unemployment in Texas. Right, Workforce Development. Exactly. There you go. And so it's paid for. You don't have to pay it back. You don't mind the paid parking if they make it half the lot. Oh, they also make it the easy spots. Yeah, they want to encourage you to use it, of course. I'd make it the easiest spot available. I might have valet service for an extra $10. Idaho has rest areas next to truck stops. I just think that some states, especially here in Indiana, where half of them are closed, I don't know if there's some kind of payoff going on. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if it's true or not. PTL, you're at 40 cents after a year. You start at 34. That's not super great, 34. But are you getting miles, and are they treating you well? I mean, 40 cents times 3,000 miles, $1,200. Stay away from the D15 in a Volvo. The mechanics here hate Volvos. We had one. They didn't like it. They said it's a disaster to fix, and it takes forever to get parts. Yeah, it's stressful times and relax. Sure, I totally agree, right. The stress, moments of blind stress are punctuated by moments of wonderfulness, really. PGT pays percentage. I've never been a fan of it because I'm always thinking I'm going to get cheated. But again, that's just me. I always wonder, am I being paid? I want to see the rates. Heading to TMC after the first year. Oh, let us know how it is. And let us know if you can walk on the grass. I heard that you can't walk on the grass there. What are my thoughts on USA? People all want me to look into USA. I haven't yet. All right, Roy, nice. So Martin just announced weekly minimum pay, $1,100. Nice. Is that 5 days, and how do you qualify for the minimum? I'm always curious about that. Let us know. Chris is getting $30 an hour local. That's sweet. That's UPS pay here. Good day for, oh man, from Western Australia. What time is it? Isn't it tomorrow there already? You're already on tomorrow's show. That's nice. You're at 42 and getting 2,700. Yeah, right. When you train, you bank 1,400 a week and up to 1,900. Yes. Of course, you should only train to be training people, not for the money, but you should get paid extra for it. What's my opinion on companies that have a strict idle time but don't supply APUs? Well, if they let you run the truck, fine. If they have a time that says over a certain percentage, what do they do to you if you're over that percentage? I guess that's the question. What are they doing to you? Say if they have 40% or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What happens if you go over? You have 2 months experience from Amarillo College. Nice. I remember it, right? But I'm not expecting huge payout of school. Okay, look, somebody's going to give you a chance. Unless you have 40 felonies, you're going to be able to get a chance, and you're going to be able to get in the industry and have a career the rest of your life. Because I always say this, look, people have to eat. Even though if the economy falls, there's 300 and some million people that have to eat. And even if every one of us went on food stamps, so everybody's got to eat. And what do they need if they eat? Eats toilet paper. We got to deliver toilet paper. So there's always something to deliver. It's one way in or out. You've got something to do for the rest of your life with a career, a great career for your whole life, for sure. Let's see. It's easy. Okay. Never accept percentage. Look, I agree, James, right? If the company is not willing to show you the rate, that really bothers me. What are they hiding? Now, as a company driver, and I had to look this up for a question not that long ago, they're not required legally to show a company driver the rate, only someone that's leasing there. But if they won't show it to you, that is a huge problem. Why won't they show it to you? Here's what we made on these runs, the rate, and here's why you're getting whatever the percentage is. If they're not willing to show you that, that is a big problem. I can check my email live, or I can't check it live here, but I will check it after the show, right? I can't do it live. Not technologically advanced. You have 15 days to your year. Nice. Then you get another raise. Excellent. They should give raises all the time. That's every day, but not really. Look, I'm not technologically advanced like Jay. I'll throw this in here now. He said at Auto Transport Intel, right? You should all watch the show tomorrow at 8 p.m. live on YouTube. Jay, a friend of the show here, and we do show together every month. The next one's November 16th over on his channel. So it'll be Friday afternoon. Check that out as well. We'll have more announcements. But he talks about the auto hauling industry, which is super fascinating. Let's see. Volvo and Freightliner are the worst. I love my Freightliner. I love it. My Cascadia, my 2018 Cascadia. I like them. Like them. Do I think there will be unmanned trains delivering freight? No, because they can't deliver to the store. Somebody's still got to get to the stores. Although I don't know why they couldn't unman the trains. It's not like they can get off the tracks, but there are always going to be people in the trains. I mean, just like trucks, same way. Don't look, Roy. Okay, don't refuse short runs. Nice, 5 days. Don't ask to go home early. Scan paperwork before 10 hours. Nice. No at faults. Okay, so basically, you're saying if you just do your regular job, no problem. And what company driver gets to refuse freight anyway? So perfect. Then you make at least $1,100. So if you're stuck somewhere, you're going to make your $220 for a layover, or if you're stuck, minimum, no matter if you're sitting somewhere. You don't have to worry that, I got to wait 3 days in a row to get layover. That's always the biggest problem at places. So you just got a $600 bonus for being at your company year? Nice. So a yearly kind of retention pay to stay there, although I do think that they don't need as many drivers where you are as some places do. What school to go to, CRST or CR England? Neither of those C's. They have a USA Truck as an armored division? Really? The Celadon conversation? No, look, Celadon, right. We'll get to that, right back to that here as people come in. If a veteran driver makes a mistake 20 years, gets a DUI half a year ago, you got a DUI, you got a problem. And that's another thing, right? That is the DUI and drug test, right? you're going to have a real problem. There are probably owner operators is probably where you're going to have to go. Find an owner operator's got a couple trucks that'll let you go on because you got a lot of experience. That might be what you have to do. You idle your rig during 10-hour right at night system is inefficient. So I asked the shop boss, $700 a week idling. Man. You never refuse freight, but you could. But I guess you won't because of the bonus. So that's a good way to get people to run the freight, to give them a guarantee and say, all right, you can refuse this, but then you're not going to get any money. November 2 will be 2 years with crime. And then going down to the oil fields. Wow. New York will pay for your schooling, endorsements, and party fuel costs. That's nice. What's my thought on the new the 990? Look, it looks super great. I think it's going to be an owner-operator and high-end transportation company like Reliable that haul the cars around those enclosed trailers, that kind of thing, and maybe some movers. I don't think it's going to be out that, into too many companies, although I did see that Western Star for England. So maybe they'll buy a few for their best drivers. I think you'll see some on the road. But, that kind of truck is going by the wayside as fuel costs just creep up. It's going to cost a fortune to run that truck. Right, you have never refused to load, but you can. Oh, all right. But for 220, you might think, man, I might lose a couple of $100 on this load. So it really can cost you. So that's a good way to do it. Have I seen I haven't seen any on the road, but I've seen the design of the truck and I like it too. Right. If somebody works for TMC and don't walk on the grass. Exactly. You can't even walk on the grass. That place just aggravates me and stuff like that. The little things like when you come into the shop, your bed has to be made in the truck. Okay? Why do I need to make my bed in the truck? What do they care if I make the bed? I'll make my bed at home. Why am I going to make it in the truck? You have to wait 3 years before you can get insurance coverage. It's a problem. Right. It is, that kind of thing is a problem. I'm sorry, that happened, believe me. But it's a real problem. I don't know what you'll be able to do about it. I think that only owner-operator might do it. And if they can't insure you, you're just not going to be able to be hired. I know here it's 10 years. So, and that's a lot of companies I see. It says right on there, 10 years by DWI. You get to refuse as a company driver if there are any hazards. Oh, like hazardous material? Aggravated burglary, a theft over 1,000. Right. Any other, you're going to have to call. Each company always says call. It's going to be a slog. Figure out call every place. You emailed the new notice. Okay, good. I'll check it out. Only thing that would make you happy now is 5 on 2 off instead of 10-3. They advertise that in Indianapolis. I don't know where you live, but they are advertising weekends home here, regional, some kind of weekend regional. So I'm not sure. Yeah, Roy, I love Freightliners too. I think they've done a great job in it. Stephen, good, 3 years. That's excellent. There's CDL schools, yeah, in New Jersey. If you pass the course, it will get you a good place. If you can afford school, pay for it yourself. Then you're not beholden to some company. If you can get a grant from the State Department of Unemployment, do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to go where some company sponsors you to get it paid for. But if that's what you have to do, that still gets you in a truck, gets you your license, gets you a job, and gets you on the road. And that's what's going to change your life. That's for sure. There was a driver here on the weekend, a DUI, and jumped a Jersey Berry. Yikes. Look, it's bad. I'm not going to say it's anything good about it, right? But, maybe if we can learn a lesson from it, people can stop doing it. I don't know what else to say about it, really. Stay safe. It's 2 a.m. there. Wow. Okay, great. Thanks for coming in. That's great. So I've got people from all over the world. That is excellent. I'm going to put a pin in the Australia map. I might think about doing that. Put up a map and put pins in it from where everybody is. That's awesome. PTL will hire with a felony. Look, Western Express will also hire you. We'll get out, and even if you're on paper, it's a great second chance. There are places that will do it. What will they fire you with a DUI felony? That's an interesting question. The company you work for will fire on the spot for DUI. Oh, look, that's most places. That's not just you. Most places will fire you for DUI on the spot, for sure. Yeah. Want to go to school start in November? Look, get that winter done. What kind of mileage do I get? I get high eights in my Freightliner, and I've gotten in the low nines, but I think life to date, we're averaging about 8.8 in it. 8.5 to 8.8, 20,000 pounds average load. Yeah, don't pay for it yourself, then go to a crap company that would have paid for it. Exactly. Totally exactly. Monica, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that goes to say for sure, right? Pay for it yourself if you can do it. You're bummed that your company's getting automatics, no more gear jamming. Well, you can pop it into neutral and then back into drive every once in a while and rev it up and make it feel like that, for sure. But they're all going to, look, 10 years from now when we're watching this show 10 years from now, it's going to be all automatics. It's going to be every once in a while somebody has a manual. You've never turned on a lot of, you've been in Northeast Connecticut, Baltimore, Maine, New York. Yeah, but people just don't like going to New York City. You must admit that. It's horrible and it takes your whole day up. So I didn't know, as a company driver, that places were letting people, usually they don't like that. You're a company driver with Prime. James, not including hazmat. Okay. That's nice. So places are doing better than they used to. Most states will give you a grant. That's what I'm saying. Check with the state's Department of Unemployment in your state. They're all different. Just give them a call. There's some bureaucrat there that'd love to talk to you about whatever, because they're just sitting there getting paid all day. And tell them your situation, and you do not have to be unemployed to get the grant. You can be working, and they'll still grant the truck school in some states and some programs. Give it a try. It costs you basically nothing to see if they will do it now. And that's the best way to do it. Then you get truck school paid for, and then you can go anywhere you want. You're trying to get on with Kern Vacuum Service. Nice. I never heard of them. I have a 2018 Freightliner Cascadia with the DD15 in it, and the 12-speed Eaton automatic. The only thing that makes you mad, let's say on YouTube here, is when you see drivers bringing a six-pack in the trucks. Why are truck stops selling beer? And why are drivers buying beer at the truck stop to drink it in the truck? Now that's somebody that should be fired. Come on, people. Optimized idle is junk. I agree. I still find places using it. I don't like it. I never liked it. You have a gun charge felony from 10 years ago when you were a youngster. You accidentally shot your neighbor's barn. And you have a pending felony drug charge. That's a problem. You got a problem. A pending charge, I think, is the biggest problem because there's no disposition of the case yet. You're going to have a tough time calling around. I'm not going to kid you about that. Okay, it is not going to be easy. Truck drivers are considered semi-skilled. I thought that they were considered unskilled labor. That's what last I heard. We were considered unskilled labor. And that's half the reason we don't get treated like a licensed professional, because the government doesn't even think we're even skilled, much less, a professional. It's okay. Monica says Florida gives a grant. That's a good way to go right there. Pick a company with a drop yard close to your home, or a place to let you take the truck home, I guess, if you have a place to park it. James, you're correct, right? That's going to be a tough one to overcome. It's certainly possible. CWS in Chicago will take anybody. Nice. I hate to put Western Express out there for people, but I guess if that's your only choice, if you have some kind of really bad problem, it could be your only kind of choice. Best OTR company, California. Boy, each company is different per person, right? Excuse to turn the wheels. And a place that is going to take you is going to sort of use you like a student, and it's disappointing. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't. They should pay you just like any other driver. If you're moving their freight, they don't get a break on the rates. Do they go, oh, we're going to give you a discount on the rates because we pay our people 30% less because they're felons? They don't do that, right? They're making the difference on your back, and it isn't right. New York paid for everything for you. You went to prom and did TNT for 30,000 miles. Nice. You drive for Swift Dedicated. Swift has come a long way. And what I've heard from people is that these mega carriers, and Swift included, If you can get on there and get in a dedicated run, those seem to be the happiest people. Those are the people I heard from and say X company wherever I work is great, because they're running a dedicated run. So maybe the way to get into the large company is through some type of dedicated run. This is not pizza delivery. That is correct. You gave a full grant through the program because you fit into one of the requirements. Yeah, you get people call your state first before you call a truck school. Call the state and see if you can get it paid through the state, through a state grant. You might get the school paid free at a community college near you. Probation, more than likely, from what the lawyer said. Yeah, the problem is it's pending. I think your problem is it's pending. You also have beer in the truck. Yikes. Oh, I get it. Got it. Sorry. Used to be Knights of the Road. Yeah, now it's a last career. Well, we're going to change that here. We're going to make this profession an actual profession. People need to be professional, though. We can't be, walking around without showering and stuff. We got to do our part and to change the industry. We can't have this goofball for Black Smoke Matters flicking off the camera, with the finger and then think there's still a problem. You refused 3 loads. Seems like there's a law against having alcohol in the truck. I don't know. Not if you're driving. I wouldn't do it. I've refused 3 loads in 2 years. Okay, right. You should have change anyway. You should always carry change year round so that you have them. PA pays for everything. That's nice. Don't do Walmart dedicated. It depends. There's a driver on here I haven't seen for a while that is does a night dedicated for Walmart and loves it. I do not know anything about Sorensen. I'll have to look into them. Right, there's Sherwin driving for night. Exactly. They hired you on probation. All right, well, you're in. You must be 21 to get a grant. Yeah, I believe so, because you couldn't go out of state, and so you probably have to be 21. Right. You had a dedicated with Schaefer and then started having me sit and do odd runs. Look, tell him, look, you're going to take me off this, I'm going to get out of here. You don't have to really be doing it. Just threaten them to do it. And what I've said to people, if you want to get a company's, goat or whatever, call a company and apply, and for a company you don't want to work for, and give them the number to your dispatcher as the contact number. So when they call, it was like, they'll be calling asking about you. And then the dispatcher is going to call and say, well, what's going on? And you say, well, I'm looking around now that you won't do what I want. You see what I'm saying? And that kind of gets them thinking about it. At least that's the idea. Let's see. I saw a Swift Bobtail in a liquor store parking lot. Yikes. With a brown bag. Hopefully it was just smokes. You yelled bad words at him. I love that. Hopefully he just bought cigarettes, right? The mega carriers are training through some of those government programs. Yeah, they're getting the grant money that should be going to the person, and then they're having you pay for the school as well. Roy is doing Walmart dedicated, right? I love it. A lot of people write to me and say, look, these mega carriers have all these benefits, and then you are dedicated to one customer, right? So that seems to be the way to go with these companies. That might be a new way to go trucking. DC to store? No, I don't think that's bad. DC to DC? Okay. Well, look, the driver for night goes to the store and he doesn't unload or anything. They take care of everything. You checked out Newsbaum? Yeah. I like their whole deal over there. They got the bonus system's a little complicated, but with the pay and that, not bad. And if you're in the area of them, they don't have a large hiring area. They'll get you home on the weekends. And if you go there, let everybody know how it goes. We're all interested to see how it actually is there. That's my most nerve-wracking video, is the good company, because people may actually go work there just based on what I said. And so I'm always nervous that it actually turns out to be a great working company. So far, everybody seems to be happy at the companies that I've mentioned. So if it's not, I want to know about it for sure. Regular trucking school for $5,000. That's about what it seems to be now. Joey Dollars. Joey Dollars sounds like a mob name. Your school cost you $800. Wow. My school cost me $1,595 in 1988. When did you go to school? What if you're doing 34 at a casino and you go gamble and drink and stay in a hotel. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Look, I wouldn't drink at work, even if you're off duty somewhere else. That's what I say. But I don't think it should be a problem. You're on your break, away from the truck, off duty, that's your time. But the company may see that differently. CB radio is mainly trash talk. That is totally true. Dedicated is best because you know where to find the parking to shut down. Yeah, and I've heard from these Walmart dedicated people that you can still park at the Walmart even if it doesn't allow truck parking because you have one of their trailers. And that's a huge assistance. You don't have to worry about getting to a truck stop. Maverick or McElroy, it just depends on where you want to go home. I like both places. I like them both. 5Gs is what you paid in 2006. That's all right. So I've seen them now for 4 to 8,000 today, depending where you go. Swift, I just saw Swift was $39.95. Nice. You have to have a CB to talk to loader operators. Yes. You should have a CB because they go, well, put on channel 23 and we'll call you when you're ready. That way you don't have to sit in that little room and wait all day, for sure. You're still paying Sierra England, they're $9,500. Wow. That's some of the most expensive. But that's because you get the excellent accommodations that England provides you in Salt Lake City. When you move to Indiana, you'll change the weekends off with Martin. Right. Yeah, that's what they're running here is regional home weekends out of Indianapolis area. At 2011 in Hialeah, Florida. Wow. Why is it so cheap? You get some kind of grant for the rest of it? Because there's no way they can stay open at $800. Your school was $3,600 a year ago. That's more like it, right? Colorado's $3,500 in 2014. That's does Maverick still have a 5,000 sign-up bonus? I don't know. It's a new month. You'd have to call them to see that bonus and stuff changes all the time. You'd need to be on like some kind of scroll to keep up with all these different bonus programs. England is a giant joke. You mean their Salt Lake City barracks that people online called prison, similar to a prison, is not great? Some info on Newsbomb? Yeah, let's give this guy some Newsbomb information, right? $11.50 guaranteed. Let's start with that. Foreign for training, foreign test drive, must have learners. You should get your learner's permit before you get to school if you can. That will require you to take a DOT physical in your area, go down to the DMV, study, and take a written test, and you will have your CDL learner's permit. And I recommend you do that no matter what the company says. You taught by your dad in a 1970 Transtar too. Yikes. I bet that was an automatic. Holy mackerel. Because they didn't have them, right? You're 54 and want to start trucking. Am I too old? No. Absolutely not. I'm in my extreme upper 30s, as I say. But even though I've been driving, right, it is not too old to start. No problem. Go to school. I'll tell you, it may be one of the only industries that you can start at 54 and still get great pay and have a great career in it. You couldn't do that anywhere else. Start at the bottom. Here you're going to start with excellent pay. 54, get your butt into truck school. You can be driving a truck before the end of this year. Check out WDS. Yeah, somebody said that, right, perhaps in an email, and I did write it on my board. I have a large board that I wrote it on. Community college in Minnesota is $5,700. Ooh. CDL school in Fargo is $5,700. Well, that's the kind of thing. If you can get the state to pay for that, that's what we want to do. Your last was 49 exactly. Look, just because you're 54, but get ready for this. You may have a student that's 25 years old, or a trainer that is 25 years old, 22 years old, right? Okay, so you're going to have to deal with that, certainly, and probably people will be younger than you in school. Don't sweat it, right? You are going to be able to come in and make money, no problem. 54, you can't do that in any other field. If you went and got a college degree, you'd be 58 years old. You think anybody's going to hire you? No. No way. This is it for you. You got it made. Get your butt into truck school and then put that butt in a truck seat. You're going to make it. Trucker's average age is 60. The trucker average age is old. Much older than me in my extreme upper 30s. But, and I see these people walking around. Believe it. You grandfathered in. I grandfathered in the CDL. I did go to truck school though. When you're doing Walmart dedicated, your hours are steadier and you have a better sleep pattern. I totally agree. Dedicated, I think, is the way to go. You know what you're going to do each week. You have a better sleeping cycle. Just the sleep itself is going to make you live longer. Drivers die early. And part of it is because they're a weird sleep schedule and all the stress of that. The Salt Lake City school is dumb. They have a gas station style school inside the barracks. Nice. And it's 2.5 times the normal price. You spent $300 waiting for 2 weeks. Nice. You got a cold. You're lucky that's all you got. Did you check yourself all over for other stuff you might have got? Yikes. Right, exactly, Michael. That's exactly how you do it, right? Hey, Light Bright, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. You're 21 with 30 years experience. Yeah, nice. That's excellent. That's pretty good. You never drove through the snow. Well, welcome to trucking. Do I recommend it? Tough it out or find a team with experience or no. Do it yourself. Look, you're talking to the wrong person for teaming. I don't like it. I almost think it's unsafe because you can't really sleep back there. So, I'm on the edge on whether it should even be banned, much less anything else. But, do it yourself. Imagine how nerve-wracking it'll be for you to drive. It's nervous-wracking, okay? I'm not going to kid you about it. What if you were sleeping and somebody else was driving? No way, right? You drive it. You got it, right? It's hard work. Concentrate. Take your time. Do it the speed that you can do it, and you got it made. Do not overdrive yourself. You know what? If people are passing you, then let them worry about that, right? Drive at the speed you can drive in the bad weather. If it gets too bad, pull over. Ultimately, you're responsible for the safety of the truck. You pull it over if it's too much for you, even if other people are still going. Don't worry about what they're doing. Maybe they're all idiots, right, and should have pulled over first. So I'm probably already pulled over in there, kicking back, relaxing. We can talk while we see all these people go crash down the highway. For sure. You're not delivering a heart to somebody. Okay, so there. Creed is switching to PeopleNet, and you can no longer see load assignments from your smart. That stinks. Why would they take that off of there? Because I think that's a great idea. You could be in a truck stop or be somewhere else and get your load on your phone. What the heck? Yes, good. You should, right, Jeff? You're sick of seeing untrained new drivers. Yes. Safe drivers last longer. People that are trained stay in the industry. That's half of the problem of new drivers is they're not trained. They get in the truck and the trainer goes to sleep right away. And then, so a few weeks later, they get their own truck. It's super frustrating. They don't know what to do because they haven't been trained properly. And then they're like, forget this. It's too hard. If they would just be trained, companies and trainers would take the time to train people more. People would last longer in the industry and realize what a great career that they're actually in here. Olive Branch, Mississippi's $900. What is going on down there? Would I drive a new Pete? I like my Cascadia, right? So the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. So I originally had an articulated license. I had a D-class Illinois license is what I originally started out at because I lived in Illinois at that time. And it was a D license then. Then when the CDL came by, I just exchanged it because I'd already had my license. So all he did is give me the CDL. That requires you to have a learner's permit. Oh, that's a good idea. I think that you should have it in advance of wherever you go. Get it yourself and then you've got it. It'll cost you, $60 or whatever. Probably a total of $80, depending on how much your physical is. You start out making 17 cents a mile. Yikes. I started at $2.50 a week at Economy Transport because I had a local job right out of truck school for a few months where I did a bunch of local deliveries. And then I went to 23% for Regal Transport running an over-the-road flatbed. You want to know about Freymiller. Is it a good company? I haven't looked into Freymiller. Who knows about Freymiller out here? We got a lot of people in here. Somebody's probably working there. You would never do teams, too small a place, and then their hygiene. Yeah, there's that, but I'm always nervous of the person driving. What if they fall asleep? What if? Every bump, I always say this, I think I'm going to die every time we hit a bump. Oh, I'm dead. He killed us. So it's not for me. You just do not sleep back there. And I teamed years ago for BP, all right, and we hauled oil, cases of oil for BP. And there's just no way. I wouldn't do it. I didn't sleep. It was just ridiculous. I couldn't tolerate it. And after that, Rod, I'm like, no way. There's no way this is safe. Nobody is sleeping. After a week of that, you're a zombie. You're not sleeping back there. All your trainees come back in the tightest spaces. There should be a test at the end of that, a good test, not this goofy test that they give, right, where they back in. Because I've done a backing class here at work, kind of a last chance class, where people have had a couple backing issues, and so then they go, can you do a class on Saturday? And people have to come in, and we back in all day, and I'll put two trailers super close together, and so when you get that, you got it made, and that's how it should be, right? Because there's tough spots. Let's be honest about it. Wind is nuts by the California border. That's typical. Hang on to the wheel, and if you're loaded, you're good to go. You drive no more than 10 hours a day, somewhere 500 miles a day. Wow. Yeah, look, if you want to stop, go ahead. Too much seat time is hemorrhoids. Nice. Maybe Preparation H can sponsor the show. That requires to have their permit. Yeah, that's a good idea. Anyone looking at oversize the ATS? I've seen a lot of ATS trucks out there. Come to work for the trucker hypocrite buster. 20 cents a mile per mile empty and loaded. Yeah, now there's some money right there. And it's an even number. So at the end of the week, we get 2,000 miles. We can exactly figure out our pay. I love it. I love it. CDL school on November 5th. Yeah, let us know how it goes. Straight through 3 weeks. By Thanksgiving, you're driving, right? You got that job by Thanksgiving. I love it. Another successful career is started right there in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be frustrating. That's the first thing I'll tell you, right? They throw a lot of information at you. It's very frustrating to start. There's tons of laws and stuff. Just soak it all in, right? And stick with it, right? Because it gets a lot easier, and this is going to change your life. But at the beginning of anything is hard. The people that are successful in anything are the ones that stick with it and don't give up. You can't quit something and expect to be a success at it. So stay with it, and you got it. Knight doesn't have enough empties. You could spend all day delivering loads to someone else's load. I love when companies do that. Can you go deliver this load because we don't have an empty? Well, at least their trailers are full of freight, I guess. So that's a good news. You're in Oklahoma. Nice. How's going, Tad? Right, Todd Lamp. That's good. You'd choose another company before them, Roy? Yes, John, you must have faith in your teammate. I don't have enough faith in anybody else that's driving me around. I just don't. I don't care if the guy's got, the gold ribbon from the presidential seal of the best drivers of America or whatever. I just don't. I just can't do it because I don't know what's going on up there. And so to be out there with him driving, I just can't do it. I can't. It's not for me. If people can team and you want to do it, I mean, go ahead. That's probably where the higher pay is in the industry, but to do it, I just can't. I can't. It's not for me. I'm not going to be able to do it. Big E, the trucker. Hey, what's going on out there? What's happening? Boss, the EPA, go back to straight pipes. Trucker, hypocrite buster. Regen. Look, I got this truck new, and I haven't had any regen problems on it. So, although I will say a couple of our trucks have gone back and had the entire DEF system replaced. So, when we got this batch of trucks in, that was under warranty. And the trucks, let's be honest, Mr. Buster, they're getting better mileage than they've ever gotten. You can't get, close to 9 miles to the gallon out of these straight pipe trucks. You just can't. And that's the biggest cost. So that's what I'm saying on those, on a new truck. The company going is paying for it? Good. Oh, nice. 6 months. That's not bad. That's one of the lowest I've ever seen. Learn on a manual if you can. If you can get a place with a manual, do it. But I don't know. I'm on the fence about that too. There's so many automatics. I don't know how much it's going to limit you. I'd rather you didn't get the restriction for sure if you can do it. The pre-trip is the most confusing part. Yes, Kim, it's a mess, and nobody does it like that in real life. Honestly, no driver's going to say they do that. The pre-trip on their truck the same way it's done at school. You just don't. But so just learn it exactly. They taught us at school exactly what to say and what to point at. So hopefully the school does that and learn it and basically Get through it. Yeah, bad on empties at night. Well, the good thing, they have a lot of freight. Bad thing, you got to deliver all of it 10 miles away. You're guaranteed 600 a week before taxes and then 700 every week till you finished. Yeah, gross. That's pretty good. But remember, after that comes 4 digits, right? And then 5 digits a week, right? 10,000 a week. Maybe not. That day maybe is a ways away. John, teaming is not for you. I totally agree. You can't sleep. I think it's unsafe. Who's with me? Am I wrong on this? Teaming is basically unsafe because you're just not getting sleep. The roads are horrible today. All over the country, you just can't get any sleep. I don't think you get enough sleep. You're on your way up to Huntingtonburg, Indiana. Ryan, auto only, so you have to pay myself for saying. Well, look, if you can't afford it or don't want to, there are a lot of jobs that have automatic. So you're not limiting yourself as much as you used to. We just hired our first guy with a restriction, which I was surprised at, because we have like a mix of trucks. So I'm surprised that they did that. So they're because he can't drive some of the trucks. But so we're doing the same thing. So I think you'll be fine, really. And at least you have a license. You can always worry about it later. 400 miles as of today. Looking for Montana? Go back later to get. That's what I'm saying. Can you go back later and get it? You may not need to. Maybe you work for a place that has manuals and they'll let you use their truck. Your freight like it's 8.4 towing, right? Your 1996 12-valve Cummins Dodge gets 8. Yikes. Look, Roy, they're the most efficient, right, Roy? A semi, totally, for the weighted pulls, very efficient. Timothy, agree, no teams. I'm not into it. I won't do it again. Will not do it again. Oh, Kim, you're in the craft caves. Aren't those the most fascinating things, going in the caves? Anybody who's not been in the caves, Missouri caves, it is super fascinating. Oh, it's been years. I went in there and they're like, oh, turn here and go down. I go down to this place. I'm like, well, how do I back in this? Because there's just a hole here in like the cave. He goes, no, the point's over there. He goes, look at that hole over there. Just drive in there. There's just a hole. It's not lit. Not lit or anything. You pull in this hole literally into the earth. You pull the whole truck in there and then back into the thing. Fascinating. Just fascinating. You have to there's a big sign that says do all your Qualcomm work outside the caves or whatever. And there's a guy down there trying to make a call. Oh, I can't get a signal. I'm like, duh, you're under the earth, stupid. Just fascinating. Really, anybody who gets a chance should take a load in the caves. It's really, really something. You're supposed to go to CRST. Well, I don't know. Can you not go? I mean, look, if you're going to go, and it may take you longer to get your life changed, go. That's what I've always said. If you can go somewhere, get your license and get it. But, there are better places, but there are probably worse places. It may take you weeks to get somewhere else. I don't want to hold you up from getting your license. I'd rather you got it somewhere than not get your license. So that's something to consider as well. Because once you have the license, you can do whatever you want. Now they have this non-compete thing. I wouldn't sign that. I don't think it's enforceable anyway, and because I've only heard of CRST doing it. I don't think I would sign that. Josiah Wright, you couldn't sleep. Teammate couldn't either. You were downing Red Bulls. Is that what you want? You wake up and your teammate, is strewn about him are 6 empty cans of Red Bull. Is that any kind of good thing? He's like, oh, dude, I drank this 6-pack of Red Bull. No way. You're just not getting enough sleep. I think it's a safety issue. I almost think it should be banned. Can I tell you what other service stream makes you work 2 hours free? I don't know. I don't work for free, sir, and you should neither. When did that become an industry standard? Dock and not pay detention. I totally agree. And by the way, some places I've seen make you work 4 hours free, and you shouldn't do that either. As I've said, drivers should be paid for their time. I think drivers should get paid hourly from the ELD. There's no reason today why you should not get paid from the electronic log. But this sitting, no way. Go somewhere that pays you, man. Don't work for free. Nobody would let their teenager work for free at McDonald's. If your teenager came home and said, oh, you know what? They make us clock in at 8, but we don't get paid till 10 or whatever. You'd be like, no way. Why do drivers do it? That's the thing. It goes on because drivers do it. Do not ever work for free. Never. That's how it changes. You get paid at Martin from minute one. Yes, that's the way it should be. And I don't even mind 1 hour if you're getting a stop pay or something like that, because the stop pay is then that hour. But after that, you need to get paid, and you should get paid until you leave. So Martin has some kind of guaranteed pay. That's excellent. And that's the way it should be. This waiting, though, the only reason they're doing it to you, honestly, is because you'll do it. So you need to tell them in no uncertain terms that you're going to pay me or I'm going to have to work somewhere else, because I don't come in. I'm not a volunteer here. You can volunteer at Goodwill. You can come at Christmas to the church and feed people, whatever, but we don't volunteer at work. We get paid. And that's for every single driver. But it should be now hourly off the ELD. That's the way I'd like to see it done. Right, Josh won't team. You can't sleep with other drivers. Oh, look, a rumble strip. Oh, my God. I'd be up, pow. I'd be out of that bunk, right, in my SpongeBob shorts out there, like, what the heck is going on? Right, and you wonder, are they going to do it again? You can't. You just can't do it. You were restricted to an auto when you trained by Budweiser. Budweiser does training? And they had to take the test all over again for unrestricted. That was 2001. Oh, you had a really early automatic. Those were horrible. You hate the cave? Oh no, it's fun. You went in there in Stevens? That's terrible. But no, I love the caves down there. It's just, I found it fascinating. He's like, just drive in that hole. It's totally dark. They could at least put a light in there or something. Nothing. And he drove, and it was 100-foot hole you went into. CRST is not the greatest. I agree. You drove team for 5 years, loved it. Neither of us had a problem. I don't know. You trusted him, Monica? Maybe that's it. I don't trust anybody, but I can't sleep. If not just because of the person driving, how about the road? The roads are terrible. So, I remember getting bounced off the bed. Literally off the bed. Okay, right. Let's get back to that. CRST, right. Okay, or Celadon. The bankruptcy, right, because I haven't talked about this. That's what I put on the post. Celadon got sued by investors for overstating their profits. They did a class action suit against them and said, look, Celadon, you have way overstated your profits, and that's why we invested in you, and so we want our money back. And the lawsuit's been going on, and what happened just recently right here is the investor said, oh, you know what? We'll take a settlement. So just give us part of the money that you were going to give us, because the investor said that Celadon is likely going bankrupt, that they're insolvent. That's the word that they used. The investors believe the place to be insolvent and that they are likely going to be bankrupt. And so they said, we'll just take part of our money and leave, because they thought if the lawsuit went on much longer, the place would just be broke. So that's what's happening at Celadon, and that would bother me as a driver. I'm sure on the Qualcomm or PeopleNet or whatever they use, they're sending messages that say, everything is fine here, we're a wonderful company. But, it would bother me that investors are, saying, look, you don't have any money. We looked into all your books and you're cooking the books. So that would bother me a lot. And it should bother you if you work there too. Are they bankrupt right now? No. Have they filed bankruptcy? No. Bankrupt? Maybe. All these investors seem to think so. And they gave up a lot of money just to get out of that so that they could get something. Google that up. It just came out last week. Super interesting, and it would bother me a lot if I worked there, like a lot, like I might not get a check. And who doesn't remember Arrow that just one day closed and left drivers stranded all over the country? Stop paying miles by the hour. Yes. You would get paid. You should get paid by the hour plus overtime. Swift has a CDL school with manuals. Nice. Swift does not make you sign a contract either. You only have to pay the school back. No employment contract at Swift or Knight for there. CRST, there's no minimum. I think that they're going to go, every place is going to have to do a minimum, just to keep up in the industry. And so, since to keep up, CRST probably within the next 27 years will probably realize that they have to do the same thing. Right. So that's where I went on that. Celadon. You've been in the caves in Louisville? I've never been in the Louisville caves. I went to the Missouri caves, though. Are they similar to the ones in Missouri? Because I thought it was just super fascinating. You'd be happy if you got paid hourly, right? They would have to pay you overtime. Exactly. Isn't that the idea? It should. I didn't say that. It should be overtime past 40 hours. No question. Leonardo, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate it a lot. So thank you. And you should get paid overtime past 40 for all your hours driving and on duty. Period. The electronic log goes right down to the minute. There's no reason they can't do that now. The only reason is they don't want to do it, and we don't demand it. We don't demand it of them. Budweiser is $17.25 an hour, and you have to complete your route, and they want you to be a salesman. Oh, so you're stocking. Okay, kind of like when I worked for RC Cola. RC was so much an hour, but it was like 2 cents a case of this and 3 cents a case of that and a tenth of a cent per liter. It was a total disaster. Trying to figure out your pay at the end of the week. You got paid for 50 million different things. Plus, I don't like RC Cola. You'll be starting semi-regional, whatever that means. Each company has their own name. 800 minimum, 20 detention. That's better than some. 125 layover, that's middle of road. And 15 an hour breakdown, not bad. If you'll make more than 800, if that's all you make, that'd be low. But I do always like a minimum in case you're stuck somewhere. You're still going to get some money. The foam mattress. Yeah, I have a memory foam here. I like it. I still just can't do it. Monica, I can't do it. Yeah, John, crappy roads. They bounce you off the bed. You don't get any sleep. Even if you trust the person driving, I just can't take it. You got to strap yourself in. You had a team killed in Colorado, Jim says, because one driver fell asleep. Yeah, and so then you're sleeping, next thing you're dead. Now what? That's tough to come back from. Actually, I was in a cab over when I teamed, believe it or not, for a BP. We had an international cab over. So, yeah, I was. But I wouldn't do it in any truck. That's cool. Right off a Poplar level. And really? Coke paid by the bottle, and you stock the right. You would go to a grocery store for RC Cola, and they had the trailer with the slide-up doors on the side, and so every 12-pack was a tenth of a cent, and then a case was of something was so much, and a case of RC was a penny, and a 2-liter was a tenth of a penny. It was a total mess. You had to stock the store for them. It's their store, and bring all the empties back. It was tough work, and I didn't work there long either. I agree. It was a single axle tractor with a single axle trailer, and around Chicago, of course. What a mess. In California, employer must pay at least minimum wage for all hours worked. Yeah, there are a lot of lawsuits in California, but as we know, most other states don't do that, and there's no federal minimum wage for drivers. California is kind of a unique situation. You have to get paid for your break there and everything, where you don't have to get paid outside that. And they're trying to change that. The federal government wants to change that so that California can't enforce it, of course. Because trucking companies don't like that. They actually have to pay you. They don't like having to actually pay you. They're annoyed by that. Team driving is the worst, the mate says. It snowed in Wyoming on Saturday and got paid $175. Because it didn't look like the road was closed on the news. Is that what we're saying here? You only lasted 4 months doing team? Yes, exactly. Seaboard in Oklahoma, $14.50 an hour out of school hauling livestock. $16 an hour at night. Do they pay overtime? They should at least pay overtime. And hopefully train you in hauling livestock and stuff around. I would have no idea how to do that, or probably wouldn't want to do it either. It seems like it wouldn't be great to me, but that's a personal thing. If that's something that you would want, like teaming, that might be something you want to do. It's hauling pigs, nice. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do that. I'm probably going to say no on that right now to that, but I do see people doing it. The most annoying part of it to me probably is when they're in the next fuel island, I suppose. And so I did many years ago, I thought it was hilarious. I saw a driver get peed on outside, walking by one of those trailers, which I thought was super hilarious at the time, and I kind of think it's still kind of funny. I guess one of the animals was getting their revenge on somebody walking by. Pretty funny, I thought, really. That's what I'm saying. What company is giving snow pay? I didn't say that. Somebody wrote that up here, right? Mark, what? Who's giving you pay to snow on there? Is that because the road was closed for 2 days? But see, here's the thing with the guarantee, and that's a good example. If you're on 1,000, 1,150, whatever your guarantee is, and you have to stop, you should still get your guarantee. Because if the road is closed, you can't drive, and that's exactly what a guarantee is for. So a good example, right, because it's in my mind, is Newsbaum, because someone brought it up, is 1150 guarantee. So if you're stopped for a closed road, something like that, you're still going to get your pay. And that's what I'm talking about. So guarantee is probably the next best thing in the industry to happen, so that you at least know you'll get some kind of money every day that you're out and won't have to worry about sitting around. $15 an hour to start at Wendy's. Wow. I bet he gets paid for all of his time at Wendy's too. Or does he have to do 2 hours a day free? No. And that's been a thing in the industry always, at least since I've been driving. There's been tons of unpaid time. And after I got to thinking about it, I really never understood it. And so, I decided not to work at places that don't pay you. And I think that drivers should be paid for their time. The FMLA, right? The minimum wage, right? Law applied to transportation. That was out of my mind. And it should. Transportation has always been exempt from minimum wage and overtime, and it shouldn't be. If that changed, drivers would have to be paid for their time. It's as simple as that. There's no reason today that drivers aren't paid by the hour. Why aren't we paid by the hour with overtime? Every driver. Doesn't matter, local, road, there's no reason not to pay you by the hour. And there are some road places that do. I met a tanker driver not that long ago that was going from Houston somewhere up in Michigan, and they paid by the hour off the log. And I thought, that's amazing. I didn't write it down then. I wasn't thinking about it then, but I thought that is fascinating. That's the first person I've seen that gets that. Driving behind livestock. Oh, you thought it was raining on your truck? Yeah. It's not rain. Yikes. Work at a lumber yard for crap pay $19.75 an hour, driving to Boston. Then you started for JB Hunt. Look, it's $19.75 plus OT. It's not probably great on the East Coast. But if you had overtime, it's probably not terrible. That seems low out east, though, right? Considering they're in the 20s in Indianapolis and up to 30. In-and-out managers make $100,000. Wow. Yeah, but how long have you stayed in and out burger? No driver, though. Drivers are the kind of people that are not going to be a manager of a restaurant, right? Let's be honest. Most of us would not be content in a building working for the man, right, with the supervisor with their thumb on your head all day. And it's just not what we do, I don't think. I think most people here, it wouldn't matter what it paid. It'd be a job that we wouldn't want to do. Besides your guarantee, if you have a weather stop of any kind, it's your call, which it always is your call. Remember that. You paid $100 a day to stop. Okay, and you choose to make another reason. Yes, like your company. You're in a complaint, right? Is you wish for more steady time off. Well, look, no matter what everybody's company says, it is always your choice to drive in the bad weather or with bad equipment or whatever it is. It's always up to you. You're the final one that has the last say, no matter what they tell you on the Qualcomm or any other place. And if they're encouraging you to do something, I would always do everything in writing, which you should do, and send them a message back saying, it's not safe here. Are you telling me I have to drive? That kind of thing. Or the equipment has this problem. Are you saying I still have to drive it? And see what type of written response you get. But regardless of that, if the weather's bad and you don't feel it's safe, you get to park. Especially for new people. Don't let some company push you around in the winter as we get in winter here. If you don't think you can get through whatever the weather is, right? I don't want you to drive and you shouldn't want to drive. park and worry about it at some later time. They can just be mad about it. Okay, unless you're working for Kidneys Incorporated, where you're going to deliver them to some patient and you really need to get through it. Okay, whatever's in the trailer can wait until you show up. Believe me. Don't risk your life in the weather because they send you some type of message. They're not out there with you. You determine. You run some family over, that's on you. It's not on them. You have no problem sleeping when doing teams? Nice. That I'm saying, if you want to do it, do it. But for me, no. 26 a time and a half, 70 hours plus a week. Wow. That's more like it. In North Dakota, is that in the oil field? You drove through Boston, it was frightening. It is frightening just being out there. It's frightening in a car. CRST wants to sign a 10-month school. That's not the longest I've seen. That's pretty good. I thought it was 9 there. Maybe they increased it by a month. You may have to. I mean, look, you're going to have to pay that back. We got to pay one way or another, right? Nothing's free in life. You either pay it on time or you pay it with money. It sounded very hip of me. Even with the overtime, it wasn't worth it, the micromanagement. Right. It doesn't matter. If you're being micromanaged, the job isn't worth it. No job is worth the frustration of that. If they want to come and drive the truck, let them come and drive it. You saw an ad for Keystone Freight that pays $18 an hour plus $3 for overtime in an hour. Yeah, that's the thing. They are not required to pay any overtime. So if they pay some overtime, I guess it's better than no overtime because they don't have to pay any. It should pay time and a half. You went to CRST, be careful. Yeah, it's a problem. Look, they're not the greatest. CRST uses automatics, yes. That's common though. Let's be honest. It's not going to be that limiting like it used to be. I'd still rather you didn't get the restriction, but if you get it, you're still going to be able to get a job, okay? So don't think like, I'm going to get the restriction and can't work. No, you're going to be able to work. You don't want to smell at other person's feet or emissions, he says. No teams for you. Right, you can sleep but don't want the stink. I don't want the stink of death on me when we go drive off into a cornfield. That's what bothers me. Whataburger in Amarillo's $14 an hour. That's pretty darn good money. You didn't get in the industry for that kind of, that's low. It's low for trucking, let's put it that way, but that's good for Whataburger. You felt bad for the recruiters when they came to the school, multi-million-dollar Japanese company. Nice. We used to have Dispatch Buster phone recorders pre-text. Yes. I remember them selling that at the truck stop I remember it had like a suction cup and it would stick on your phone and then record it into like a cassette recorder. I love it. Now though, send everything in writing to them. Anything that you think is a question, just send them a text or send it on the PeopleNet or whatever, Qualcomm's in your truck, whatever you're using. Yes, better be late than sorry. Exactly. Better be late than dead or kill somebody or have an accident. You can ruin your whole career in a minute because they're pushing you for something that you don't feel you can do. And it's up to you. There's people driving down the road. Come on, just get out of the way. Let him go, right? Forget that guy. Go to Newsbound. I think they're doing pretty good over there. You got to be in their area. They do not hire from nationwide. Newsbound, yeah, that's the thing about Newsbound. They're not hiring. I don't think they hire in Texas. It depends. ELDs mean we can log minute to minute. Yes. You need to be paid. Yes, look, Jim, we need to be paid by the electronic log. They pushed all this. Well, let's have electronic logs. Great. Let's get paid from the electronic log, too. How many people would log off duty somewhere if they thought they weren't going to get paid? You have a choice. If you're on duty, you get paid. If you're off duty, you will not get paid. Bingo. End of log problems. Everybody gets paid. That's why people log illegal. I get it. I'm not stupid, right? I know that's why people do that. They're not getting paid. If you got paid, you wouldn't do it. I understand it, right? I'm not an idiot. But here's the thing. You should get paid. I think all drivers should be paid for your time. They make you sit there, they pay you. Let the company go chase that place around for money and say, look, our driver, we charge this much to haul your freight and so many dollars an hour. Well, the truck sits there and then they pay the drivers. Simple. But they don't do it because drivers don't insist on it. People sitting for free, you just can't do it anymore. Stop doing it. And it's easy to say, but it is. I mean, you have nothing to lose. They're not paying you anything. So there's no loss, right? They're paying you zero. It can't get worse than that. Thinking of moving to Texas and working, there's a wait list. Yeah, they don't hire from everywhere. They do not have the biggest hiring area. New sponsor in the Midwest, yeah, they have like a two-tiered thing. From a certain area, you were home weekends, and a little wider area, you got you home every 2 weeks. And then beyond that, no. They don't, it's not a full, go to Texas and call Millis. They'll hire you out of there. Hirschbach has Newsweek guaranteed, only requiring you have to be dispatchable six consecutive days. What is Newsweek? 1250? They said 1150 to me. Was their guarantee. So maybe it depends where you are, or maybe 6 days is 1250. That's even better. If it went up since I called them, that's even better. Yet they should let me know about these things, not like they care. But if it's up at 1250, that's one of the higher guarantees that I've seen, other than our friends at K&B, who also guarantee $1,250 a week. You just can't tolerate the micromanaging there. It's just too much to tolerate. When these places ask you, though, to sit without being paid, and they have this policy, I've seen 4 hours. Okay, first 4 hours are free. Do not go to work there. Do not go to work at a place that has that policy. Now, if you're there already, it's one thing, it's harder to change. But I still say you should leave. But certainly any place that says you have to be X amount of time for free, you're like, no, I volunteer, in my free time. I don't work for free. Tell them to take a $5 bill out of their pocket and say, you see that guy on there? Right. That's why I don't work for free anymore. That's why. That we get paid for work now. There isn't any more free working. That's not how it works here in this country. So, and they should know that when you call them and they say that, they need to know why you're not coming on there. Not just hang up on them. Tell them, look, free work, no thanks. And that's how companies get the message. Until people talk to them about that, they don't have any idea. They're just all, I guess drivers just not want to work here. They don't have any idea. You don't have any idea you got Newsweek in there, right? You just saw last night that Freight Logistics has a $1,500 guarantee. Man, 75 grand. What do you have to do to get that? That's the thing. Isn't the DEF concentrated urea? Can't we just fill it ourselves? No, it's not the same. You could not just fill it yourself. It is a formulation that is different than what you might put in there. Although I guess there's jugs around the truck stop you could try, but no, it doesn't work that way. It's some kind of formulation that they put in there. It was $2.67 a gallon on Friday for you owner-operators, right? You had to call MassDOT so it could put you out of service since the company refused to get the truck fixed. The problem with that is that if they inspect you, it can go on your record. They changed that a while ago, which they shouldn't have done. You should be able to call anonymously, and if they don't, that's great. Okay, maybe they didn't do that to you, and they shouldn't. You should be able to call in and get a truck put out of service without it going on your record. But here's the other thing. If you have to do that, it's probably another time to start looking for a job. If they won't fix a truck that's unsafe, and then the DOT actually puts it out of service, that might be a company that we don't want to, take too much more time with, for sure. The Louisville Underground is on Google for the cave. Yeah, I wish I'd have gone there. I really didn't know about it. You're waiting for the day that you have a DOT issue. You still only log 15 minutes to load or unload. Yeah, you shouldn't really do that, of course, right? We should log legal, but you probably do it because you're not being paid properly. Here's a question for you, John C. What if you got paid by the hour there, and for all on-duty time you got paid? Would you log it legal then? That's an interesting question. Crypto futures is Celedon Bankrupt. All right. They have a lawsuit. Right, exactly, John C. Right. That is the solution. We should get paid. Celadon got sued by a bunch of investors in a class action lawsuit because they said that Celadon is cooking the books. They are increasing their profits wrongly by hundreds of millions of dollars so the company looks better. And so they sued him, and what happened is they just settled this. The investor said, look, we're going to settle it because they said, we think Celadon is insolvent, that they are not going to be able to continue as a corporation, and we will just take part of our money as a settlement rather than trying to continue to sue them and have them go bankrupt. That's why Celadon could be bankrupt. Investors are saying they're bankrupt. I'm sure they're putting out that they're wonderful, but these are people that invest all day long. That's what they do. And they took a loss just so they could get some money from them. And that would be very concerning to me if I worked there. Now, are they bankrupt right now? No. Have they filed bankruptcy? No. Might they file bankruptcy? They might. And if they go like Arrow stranded drivers all around the country just one day because they closed and their fuel cards got turned off. And by the way, the lease purchase drivers at Arrow, if you remember, many of them lost their trucks because the truck is not owned by you. And so they lost their trucks and their money, many of them. And so that's another reason I don't like these lease purchase deals through a company. Ryan, congratulations. You do get a demerit for that, unfortunately, but we're glad to have you here. Thanks for coming in. Companies should pay by the hour, including when you sleep in the truck. No one else stays at their overnight for free. Well, when you travel for a company, say an executive or a professional travels, right, they get their weekly pay, whatever that might be. They don't get paid extra to stay at a motel. So what do you think about it that way? So you would get your rate, but then your sleeping time, what do you say about that? So like I travel somewhere, you don't get paid for the motel time. That's what I'm thinking on. That's why I think it on that getting paid for the sleeping, if you're already getting hourly plus overtime for your work time, should you get paid to sleep? Your off time is your off time. But you should get paid for overtime plus hourly for all your work time. Caves are used in Missouri for food companies. Yes, right. It doesn't cost them anything to refrigerate it. They have the whole earth around them. Who knows about Chieftain? Let's see what's going on out there. But they get a hotel. Yes, they do. Your truck, though, as they say, is nice as a hotel now. Some of them have a deluxe TV with direct TV packages, as they put in their ads. I agree they're in a hotel, but they're still sleeping away from home is the idea. And, that we're the same way we are. Professionals, you get a per diem per day out of town. Yes, correct. Drivers, but this is the first year drivers have not been allowed to get that. Company drivers can no longer claim that per diem. Yeah, nice as a hotel, right? Toilet in there, shower, everything. You picked up, okay, so there's somebody that's been out there for a while. You picked up a bunch of Arrow drivers when they did that, and Arrow put the trucks abandoned on lot of people's records. Yeah, it's a total disaster. Arrow closed, I don't remember how many years ago. 10 years now, maybe. Was a big company, and one day they just closed because the guy was a scammer. He went to jail, right? The owner of that place. He would drive a Bentley to work, too, which I love the picture of that. I saw that picture. And drivers were just left stranded wherever they were. No fuel card, no nothing. That's why I tell people, always have a few $100 with you or access to it, just in case. Because, look, you just never know. Your company, no matter how big it is, how long it's been open, can just close. They could just close one day and you're 1,000 miles from your house with no fuel card. And these drivers couldn't fuel the trucks, then got an abandonment put on their record, which is crazy. And some of them lost their trucks that were leasing them. It was a total mess. That's right. They didn't warn their driver. They didn't do anything. They just closed. Fuel card. These drivers are going to swipe their fuel card. Just cards are off. I remember being on the road and we got a message that said for like the next week or something like that, that if we found an Arrow driver, we could take them not out of route, but we could pick them up even though we don't allow passengers, and we would be allowed to take them along our route back to wherever they were going. And a lot of companies I know did that because some people were stranded. I didn't ever find one, but I do know a lot of people did pick them up. It was just crazy. Always have a few $100 to get yourself home because you just don't know. Didn't Celadon by Burlington Motor. Oh, did they? Burlington with the cab overs. They bought a ton of places and then now they've had to sell like half the places. Oh, that guy's still rich? Oh, he's still rich because the company and everything owned all that stuff. He just got his huge pay. But everything that he owned, including the Bentley, was in the company's name. So he didn't own anything. So when they went bankrupt, it didn't cost him anything. It was no problem. He did get some jail time. I don't know if he's still in jail or not. Him and his mother and that. It was a whole mess. Do I think Knight will buy Celadon? Oh, that's interesting. I think they're big enough where somebody might consider buying them. But if they don't, you could be stranded somewhere. And if they do, now you're working for another company where everything gets changed around. And there could be a time period in between where they go bankrupt and then somebody buys them a few weeks later and you haven't received a check for a while. And that's an even bigger problem. That guy, though, he is probably still loaded. You're looking at small to mid-sized reefer outfits to drive for, but a lot of them pay 40 to 44 cents. You can do better. Keep looking around. If you don't think that's enough or they don't have the home time or whatever, keep looking. There's plenty of places, right? How can the FMCSA say when you have to be on duty when a facility loads or unloads a trailer, but is it legal to log sleeper berth? Yeah. Well, it's legal to log sleeper when you're in the sleeper. How do you have to be on duty? Because to be off duty, which I have a video about, I say as I plug my only channel, off duty requires you to be able to, quote, pursue activities of your own choosing at a location of your choice, unquote. Meaning, you have to be able to leave the property. Can you leave? Can you walk out of a Walmart distribution center, take an Uber to a movie? If you cannot do that, you are not off duty. That's why you would otherwise be on duty there. You worked for Arrow and saw that shutdown coming in 2004. There were signs of it, but I never thought it would shut down. I didn't follow the industry as closely then, and the internet certainly was not as widespread or easy to get as it is now. You worked for Celadon before where I am. No smart comment. Blair played like company of the week. Nice. You wish Celadon wouldn't have bought Tango. Is that what put him in debt? I mean, they did suck up a lot of places. They were places like crazy, and they've sold a bunch of places now. You found some paying 48 to 50. Well, it's ridiculous companies pay less. It's the thing of it, When I find a place that pays 30, 31 cents, and then I find a place paying 50 cents doing the same thing, I often wonder, how are they paying different rates? But it's just that some people will accept the pay, and it may have some kind of benefit to that person. So it just such a variance. Especially if you're not working somewhere or you're looking for a place, it totally pays now to take some time to find a good fit. And the money isn't everything. Remember, money is not 100% of everything. If you're being micromanaged or you're only not getting home enough or the trucks are garbage or there's not good insurance, right? There's a lot of different things that go into it. So what is a good company for you may not be a good company for somebody else. But, 10 cents a mile over a year is tons of money. They're hiring new guys with bad records. Well, some places will take people, but, they shouldn't pay them less. People with a bad record need to work too. That's, if you get out, you have a record, right? It's like live PD now. And then you can't get a job. What are you supposed to do? I mean, people need to go straight, people need to be able to work and support their family and their life or whatever. So they need to work too. But then the company is just taking advantage of them. Oh, well, we'll hire people and pay them less. And that isn't really right. That isn't really right. People should get paid, a good wage for doing their job because these companies are not giving a break on the rates. Their people, their salesmen or whatever, aren't going out saying, well, we hire felons and whatever, so we'll give you a quarter discount. No, they're in the market getting the same rate as everybody else, and they're making it on the backs of employees. And it just isn't right. And for all I know, they're getting some kind of government grant for that too. There's probably a grant to hire, recently released ex-cons or whatever, for crying out loud. There's a grant for everything else. That's how half of these companies keep their schools open, by getting government grants that would otherwise be given to the people. They always set up shop in the same states. They're not everywhere. They're just in certain states. And these are probably the states that give these grants out for sure. You're not burning your 70 sitting in a dock. I'm just saying what the law says. That's, what the law, you can't be off duty unless you can pursue activities of your own choosing. I know people log 15 minutes, or half an hour or whatever. I get it. I think a pattern of that could be a DOT problem because they'd see the exact same amount of time at every dock you go to, which everybody knows is certainly not true. So, but unless you can take an Uber to the store, you're not off duty. It's just you, but you can be in the sleeper. There is a sleeper for that. Mark, do I work today? Yeah, I'll work in a little bit here. I work every day, right? I drive too. There is a tax break, yeah, and it's big. Yeah, so they're already getting that money. They're paying the person less. They get a grant, a tax break, or some type of grant, and they're getting it all the way around. It isn't right. It's just not right. Why don't pay people a fair wage? Don't say, oh well, they have to suck it up. That isn't right. Is Live PD in my neighbor? No, they don't do it here. Don't they do it in Indianapolis? I do like that show. By the way, I watch that show. Yeah, Celadon flatbed. Didn't they just got rid of that? I thought I read that in an article. Get paid in Canadian while working in the States. Nice. Do I work Saturday and Sunday? When they call me, I do. I'll go in on Saturday. Like they called me last Saturday, but I did not go in. You were going to train with them in Laredo? Trans Am's 32 cents. Yeah, well, they just got rid of 3 of their schools. It didn't say where they were. So, but they did just get rid of 3 of their schools. Since you ask about that, right, I'm writing a book, which I think is super interesting. And that's what I was doing Saturday. I was working on this book. It'll be for new drivers or whatever. That'll be out in the next week or two. So I have more information about that. That should be super exciting. List of companies to call, glossary, everything. So there's a personal plug. Trans scam. Many people wrote that in, although the best ones that wrote in were the CRST memes and letters for CRST. Those are the best. I must have got 100 of those. And the hits keep on coming, as they say. People have the best ones for that. And some people have them for everyone. I got one for England, too. That is great. Somebody made something up for CR England all the way down the list. I love it. People are taking time to fill this stuff in. Stephen, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Trying to do what I can to get everybody paid. Companies would see the recruiting retention if they just pay. And that's for experienced drivers. I agree. Companies would see their retention stay if they train students, if they would actually train them. People are not being trained. And then when they get on their own, especially now it's winter, so you go in, you go with a trainer, and they let you out in January or whatever. Holy mackerel. You may not have gone through any kind of snow. They don't show you how to get down a mountain, nothing. And then you either wreck or it's super frustrating. Nothing works right when it's 10 below zero. And so that is a huge, huge problem in the industry. And they don't care. And the trainer doesn't care. That's even worse. The guy sits back there, doesn't train you. You can't fill out your log. You don't understand all the regulations that you need to learn. And then people quit and they're like, well, there's no people in the industry. We need more drivers. We got to have 18-year-olds. No, you need to train the people that you already have coming through your doors for sure. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep exposing these companies. See what I flattened today. That's another one. Not too many people did Swift. I was surprised at that, right? But the CR England was the most impressive, I guess because of the number of letters, maybe. They have 3 full-time body shops at Swift. They have their own body shops. Well, look, let's give them this. They have, tens of thousands of trucks, over 10,000 trucks, right? So they're going to have wrecks. Celadon recruiters gave you the runaround and excuse why the guy wasn't at his desk. Look, I can't tell you the places I've called that don't ever answer their phone. I don't know how they get drivers. Clyde, hey, what's happening, Clyde? When I call, like Britain, I've called them probably 10 times. I'm sick of them now. I'm not going to call them anymore. Why don't they answer their phone? They put a number out, you call it, and it just goes to voicemail. Your call is very important to us. Leave a message. If it was important, you would call me back. So places like that, that's a big hit. If you're looking for a place and you can't ever get a hold of even a recruiter, how do you think it's going to be getting a hold of somebody at 2 a.m. on a Sunday when you have a flat tire? Okay, good. You're going to sit there forever. because the recruiter doesn't make money until you come on. And so it's going to get worse. That first impression is super important, I think. Somebody at least needs to answer the phone for me and answer my questions. Swift has 22,000 trucks. All right, so there's a lot. So they're going to have, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that they're going to have some kind of wrecks. They have a lot of trucks. They're just going to. What about companies having drivers with only permits? They can't drive with just a permit. Not on their own, right? They need a licensed person in there. No, is somebody on freight with permitted drivers? Even these mega carriers put you through school and get you a CDL before they have you out on the road. So that would be even worse than the normal horrible stuff that most of this place is. That's for sure. Keep up the great service for truck drivers. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Sergeant Rock. Appreciate it. That's nice of you to say. I'm just a driver like everybody else, right? Right? I just know people have come in or whatever. I'm just a truck driver. I've been driving 30 years. A little over 30 years now on the road. And so, just trying to put some information out about stuff I've learned and maybe get some companies to change their policies and get everybody paid for all of their time. Get paid, right? And we need to be treated like licensed professionals that we are. How do I feel about children in trucks? I don't like them driving. I don't think they can reach the pedals. You don't like them looking at all. You're looking at the cutest girl in a prime truck. I saw a guy, I think I mentioned this before, and his wife, shack up, girl, whatever she is, get out of a truck. For all I know, she's his hostage. And then they came out with like a baby and put it in a stroller and rolled it into the Loves. I'm like, who puts a baby in the truck? And what about a seat? How do you attach the car seat? Because I think legally, that kid's got to be in a car seat, even in a semi, right? They don't have the latch system like in a car, so you just strap it in there. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I ever saw in my life. You want your wife / whatever she is changing the diaper back there? Has anybody changed the diaper? You don't want that in the truck. That's going out the window. So, no, I don't think there should be kids in trucks at all. You can't bring that truck in a ship or whatever. Somebody's going to have to sit in that truck. Maybe they're making so little money they got to live in the truck too. But no way. No way. When Swift trains you in Texas, you're not guaranteed to get hired by them. All companies should guarantee you hire. That would make me a little nervous too. Do I have to pay this back and you're not going to hire me? I'd want to have that kind of thing set up in advance. I don't know how you would do it there. I thought all these places that do that, get you have hiring. Shipment rates are falling and fuel is going up. It's a problem. But as we get into Christmas, there's more loads coming. So you should be feeling the upward, I'm thinking, but fuel will go up too. Get better mileage is what I tell people, right? Try to get a truck getting better mileage. That's everybody's key. All these guys who are blocking the highway at all these long-nosed Pete's, maybe they just ran out of fuel. No, but seriously, rates are still good though, right? I'm a company driver, so I don't pretend like I follow rates 100%. I see the fuel price on the pumps, but the rates are not terrible yet. Your company, you do 2 weeks hauling local tons of backing and dropping and hooking. Good. I mean, they should want you to do that. There should be days and days of you just backing up. That's how my truck school was. And it was only 4 of us, right? So you backed up, pulled up, next guy backed up. It was days of that. That's how you learned. Little girl in a prime truck got to be a bored little kid. Yeah, a kid plus. A kid's not going to like that. Would you want to be stuck in that truck? That's got to be a mess. Would I buy an ex-Swift truck? I probably wouldn't want to buy an ex-company truck. Just because I don't know of any company. I don't know how it's been taken care of. That truck could have 100 drivers. You don't know how they've been driving it. It makes me a little nervous. So the more miles it has, the less likely I'd want to do it. And they can have all the records they want. I've seen this in companies. They just make up records. You don't know if they're accurate. It's them doing the service. Oh, yeah, we did a service. Oh, prove it. It's just them saying it. It's not like your car when you take it in and that's put on a Carfax. So when I take the car for an oil change, right, Ford puts it on the Carfax, it's on there. I've seen it on there. So the truck, it's like if Swift and they're like, oh, we did the oil change every 30,000. I don't know if they did any of that. And the driver driving it, I don't know if they check everything. It's a problem. More miles, less likely. And it doesn't just have to be Swift. You get busy in the winter, but slower. Not many. Oh well, not many build pools in the winter. Yeah, you may have kind of a seasonal thing going on there. What if the passenger seat swivels back, is facing the windshield? I don't agree with that. I think it's wrong. You still have to be in a car seat. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it doesn't matter which way the seat is turned. A kid still would have to be in a car seat. The way that you're describing this kid is that the way the kid's described a little kid. So likely she has to be in a car seat or booster. So she can't be in the bunk. She would have to be in that seat all day that you're driving legally, I think. Using the pod, yes, Monica. No way she can get that child anywhere in time. Okay, so if the kid's that old, right, that's terrible. Look, it's terrible all around for the kid, right? It's terrible. I was thinking really little, so diapers from the one I was thinking, but right. So this kid older is going to have to stop for the bathroom, and no kid's going to want to be cooped up in that truck, all this time. It's just not. I don't think it's a place for kids. It's barely a place for adults half the time, much less kids. And then you're going to want to change the diaper on a smaller kid in the, this girl is 4 years old, so no diapers, but still. No 4-year-old is going to want to sit in that truck all day, running around in a prime truck. No way. I'm surprised they allow it. Probably some lease purchase person. So, maybe they don't even know about it either. Because what company would allow that? That is a lawsuit waiting to happen when something happens to that kid. If that's a company truck, I doubt they allow it. So it must be a lease purchase. And can you just take however many people you want? Or is there just the person and a 4-year-old kid in the truck? That's not much better. You're like, I'm spending time with my kid. They're next to me in a car seat. A 4-year-old's got to be in a car seat. Company should put a stop to it. Maybe this company doesn't know about it. How do you get a pay mileage pay increase when the company has a bracketed scale based on miles driven? It takes too long to get good pay. Well, Chris, you have two choices, right? You can stay and wait for your bracketed miles. I guess three choices. You can go in and tell them to give you a raise, or you're leaving, or you can leave. That is your only solution, right? Tell them, look, this is ridiculous. Go bring them pay from other companies. Say, I'm not being paid. And if they won't do it, your only solution is to either to take it or move on. That is really the only solution. You need a cleanup kit in the truck like at Walmart. Yes. Spill kit. It's just her and the girl. So they probably let you have a passenger. I'm still surprised they let you have a 4-year-old. Most companies have an age limit, but they may not know. And if they do allow it, I don't think it's a good plan. Who would think it's a great idea to have a 4-year-old? Do people not remember, what little kids would want? They're not going to be, if it's just you and the kid has got to be in there. So probably the kid is not in a seat. There's probably being allowed to be in the bunk. That's likely not allowed. She's in the car seat and the back of the seat facing the windshield. Amazing. I should have read that first, right? I was not in a car seat when you were little. Yes, that's correct. There wasn't any AC enrolled with your pop and a cab over. I agree, right? I remember jumping around the back of our Fury wagon, as a kid, but that's not today. And since it's the law, I don't think the law exempts trucks from a car seat. I think at a certain age and height, the kid has got to be in a car seat. So trucks can't be exempted. That kid's got to be in a car seat. If they're not in a seat, the driver gets a ticket. How do you explain that to Prime? I got a car seat ticket in the semi? Who wants to go in and talk about that? 2009 on air, was it? So I'm about right. Almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Yeah, it's a mess. I have drivers everywhere. People that haven't been driving 10 years don't remember. But companies can just close their doors. That's what happened one day. They just closed their doors. You need money to get home. Do you know of any tax tricks like forming an LLC to pay less taxes as a 1099? You can't be a company driver and be 1099, of course, because that's not allowed. I just did a video about that Friday, I think that came out. Right, you're likely misclassified, and I'm certainly not a tax trick expert, but forming an LLC to pay taxes as 1099. So you would have the LLC be paid by the company and then them pay you. Well, that would mean if you're working for an LLC, you're an employee of the LLC. You're not a 1099 anymore. If you're driving somebody else's truck that they pay for, okay, and they buy the fuel and they dispatch you, you're a company driver, you're an employee, you're not 1099, you're misclassified, and they're hosing you on it, for sure. I did a video about it. In the video, I show the questions that the IRS asks to determine whether people are employees, and this is in any field. Does some other person have control over your day? Do they tell you what to do during the day? Is the first question, right? If that person does, then the person that they tell it to is an employee. So likely you are misclassified. I can already see that from your question. They were stranded up and down the East Coast. Red, those people were stranded all around the country. There are aero trucks all over the place around the country. That's ridiculous. And that guy didn't care. He's just driving his Bentley to work. You saw a family of 5 get out of a Freightliner? Why would I do? Yeah. I will say, maybe for some reason their house burned down and had no choice. You couldn't have 5 in there, right? Legally. Let's talk about that. 3 max. So adults. You can have 1 in a sleeper being strapped in, legal. Passenger seat, seatbelt, legal, and a driver. That's it. Any more people are unrestrained and you legally couldn't ride in it with it moving like that. You can't. And where does everybody go? Not go, but where is everybody physically in the truck when the truck is moving? How do you all get out of scale? Oh, you're a little overweight. Oh, it's because I brought my mother-in-law. You don't want, that's not some kind of thing you want to do. Max Force is the worst engine. Agree. Horrible. We had tons of problems with ours here and a couple international we had, and they don't have any power. They didn't run good. They're horrible. Kids are supposed to have fun and enjoy life, not be stuck in a box. Look, I totally agree. 5 in a truck, but even just 1 in a truck, you want to bring your 4-year-old? You shouldn't bring your 4-year-old with you. You shouldn't. If you have a 4-year-old at home, you should be home with that kid. Being gone with little kids, that's probably not the best plan either. You should be there with that 4-year-old. But bringing them in the truck, no way. Plus, I'm thinking it's school, but the 4-year-old's not at school. So that still isn't great. And I doubt they would allow that. There's just no way. I don't know. Is that a company truck? There's no way a company truck. I don't even have to look that up. There's no way there's no way you could bring an infant. Nobody's bringing an infant with them. Scorp has better. What the heck is Scorp? Oh, S Corp. Got it. Right. Yeah, either way, right? There's no way. S Corp, LLC. You're an employee. You should be paid as an employee. Right? Simple as that. You're paying double taxes too. You have to pay self-employment tax. So and you just don't want to deduct the stuff because they're paying for it. You're taking all the risk and no good. Become an employee like you're supposed to. All school buses are required to have seatbelts. Where is that going on? Not here yet, I don't think. You don't think it's allowed? I don't think they're... Look, the liability, that kid falls, who gets sued? Prime. They're going to get sued because that's just how it works. So to have 5, you can't have 5 in a truck. That's like 3 on a match. It's not allowed. That kind of thing isn't allowed. 3 in a match, 5 in a truck, not allowed. Do 5 people pile out of that truck at a scale? I'd love to see that. It'd be like a clown car of people coming out of there. People just keep coming and coming. Oh, all school buses have seatbelts from the factory. Got it. That's why some of them don't here. Chauffeur's license would be needed and Child Protective Services would go nuts. Is it illegal to take a kid in the truck if they're in a car seat? I don't know. Probably okay. The company probably doesn't allow it. And it probably is almost child abuse just to keep the kid locked up in the truck. But it's probably allowed. But 5? No way. 5. You should have called that company in. Oh, man, give me a picture of that. I'll post that picture. Yeah, the kid doesn't even get to go outside. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's bad enough for us. We don't get to go play outside. But to have a little kid in the truck, what is that kid going to do next year for school if that kid's still in the truck? You can't do that to a kid. I mean, 4, you're not in class yet. So all the people, all these pre kindergarten, put the 2-year-olds in it, but by 5, it's school. I think it's 6 in Indiana, actually, because we're behind. We don't care if anybody gets an education here because it doesn't matter. So in Indiana. But I think you still, at school time, no way. You should ask Prime and see what they think about having a 4-year-old in the truck. That'd be really interesting. And give me a picture of 5 people getting out of a truck. That'd be a hilarious video. I think that would be, I would certainly post that video. That'd be super hilarious. That's super funny. But the kid going outside, no. That isn't good. So as we go on 3:30, I'm going to be wrapping it up here today. And so I do want to thank everybody for being out here today. See if anybody else has any final words. At least Dad has the extra diaper on his head. Oh, yikes. You had to go there with the diaper. Your nieces and nephews are homeschooled, but would you take them in the truck? Would you take them in the truck? That's for sure. I don't think so. Saw a guy with a goat. Did the goat have a seatbelt? I can't bring a goat. Who brings a goat? Power unit is an RV. Oh, I don't know if your power unit is, no, your power unit's not an RV. It's plated as a portioned, commercial vehicle. So no way. I don't think so. You found a video of 5 to 6 people riding in the truck. I have to watch it. I totally am going to watch it. Thanks. I appreciate it. Spice Weasel. Nice. That's awesome. Wild Bill, thank you for coming in here today. Boris, three kids under 5 years old? You can't do that. That's crazy. I got to watch it. Lawrence, that's great. It's like you're in the training truck. We did the same thing in the truck, but they had seats in the back with seat belts. They had actual seats screwed in that we were belted in. So we did the same thing at truck school, but they actually had us in regular seats with seat belts. Monica, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Jesse, right? Wouldn't unless it was a short trip to Disney. There's no way your truck is apportioned, right? DOT number. You registered as a commercial vehicle. If that's not going to come, no way. RV, no. John, thanks for being here. The goat is dinner. What do you do with the rest of the goat? Then you can't eat the entire goat. Oh my gosh. The goat is dinner. So I guess he had a kid in the truck. Ho! Hey-o. I'll be here all week, folks. I will be here all week. But, so 3:30, wrapping it up. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Hey, if you have anything to say, right, mark@truckinganswersnation.com. Write to me with all your missives. I read and answer every single email that I get. So be sure to write in nominations, whatever you got, pictures, send them to me. I post them, put something in the gallery, whatever you want to do, right? And check out the whole site. I write a blog most days of the week, 5 days a week at least. So I'm on there, and that's what we can do on there. So video is semi-truck road trip with family. That is great. That's so great. If you got a load, you got the best of both worlds there. That's the best of both worlds. Lancer, thanks. And Clyde, and I'm wrapping it up. So I will see everybody on the road. Be safe out there this week. There'll be more videos to come, of course. And that's about it for today. So thanks for coming in, and I'll see you next Monday at 1.